You have to have a mechanism. If Ruto goes now, who will you put there to run your errands? So when Kipe talks about leadership, let's support him and let's have a discussion as soon as possible. We need a leader for this revolution, because people have a tendency of telling us not to talk about it now just because they want to hijack it at the end. People like McKenna, we know you guys, you want to hijack this movement, and you don't have that interest of all the people. You have interest of the few. So we have to talk about this, and we have to sort these things of leadership of this movement once and for all. Lastly, you cannot align an army to go to war without giving the sword. We all know the sword that is required to deal with a politician. The sword is the voter. How many of you guys are voters in Kenya? That's the question I'll continue asking you guys. If we don't talk about it, we will just perish, and this revolution will be like just a movie, and then it goes on like the way we used to see those series, then they disappear. We have to talk about this. Thank you, Keep.
Asante Engineer John William Aga.
Okay, thanks. So to me, the idea of we are leaderless is indoctrination at its best. I believe that is how Gen Zs are being indoctrinated into believing that they are leaders. And it is a way of manipulation because we all have a general consensus that there is a leader. The people who are saying we are leaderless, they are the ones who are the leaders. Okay, in some ways, that is what you can say. They are trying to have control of this movement. And that there are two theories here, if you ask me. Number one, where are the instructions coming from? Because if we were leaderless, if this movement was leaderless, as we are saying, the ideas should be coming from the people, from the members, from the Gen Zs themselves. But where is the instructions? Where are the instructions coming from? That is where the leader is. That is, the center of power in terms of what we are talking right now, if you ask me. And one man pops up, that is Boniface Mwangi. But if you look at it through the other lens, you'll realize that it is not even Boniface Mwangi that is trying to sort of hijack this thing. There are some forces because many people are saying, oh, the president wants to hijack this thing. Politicians, you hear people saying politicians, but it is not just. You guys remember that Boniface Mwangi was Martha Karua's sort of campaigner, so to speak, during the campaign. Boniface Mwangi sort of was for Martha Karua to be the deputy president. So it's not that Boniface Mwangi is someone neutral or someone who just came up yesterday. This guy was in 2022 general elections. He was supporting Martha Karua. So if Boniface Mwangi is the one calling the shots, then definitely there are politicians behind him because the rallying call has died. Reject finance bill has died. What people are what their masters, and I'm talking about Boniface Mwangi and Hanifa. What their masters are trying to tell them is mobilize these people, keep them busy until 2027 if we cannot manage to get Ruto out of office right now. So to me, I believe someone wants to hijack the movement, and That is Boniface Mwangi, if you ask me. And just a message to Gen Z: we are in a political war. You cannot be playing basketball when people are playing football. You cannot go to a political war. You want to fight a political war as if you're fighting a different war. If it's a political war, you have to fight it through the political way of fighting political wars. That is what I can say.
And you know, it's like I've been hearing them saying, "Oh, you know, we need to reconstitute IEBC." If I'm the president, and there's a whole new Gen Z movement that is threatening my presidency, and the only way that they can get more wings is by me reconstituting the IEBC. You think I would? You think? I mean, you guys are telling the person you're fighting against to play fair. That's what you're doing. You're telling them, "Oh, play fair, play fair, play fair." No, bro. The ref was looking that way. This guy took a seat, hit you on top of the head, and now you're on the deck for the 3 count. Mariam, what did you come here running to say?
Oh, now, lakini the IBC issue is funny because the president already committed to it, and I know he committed to it. I think he's supposed to work on it tomorrow, if I'm not wrong, because he's gonna do it and then ask them, and then what? What next? Because he knows they don't have a plan after the IBC. And you know, I came back to say something. I think I was adding to what you were saying. There are 2 reasons why Gen Z are refusing to front a leader. And I see people already in the comment section saying that we are working for the government. That's why we're talking about leaders. But no, that is what you always fall back to. Now, they're refusing to pick leaders for 2 reasons. One is that if someone says they're the leader, they're going to be taken by the government and killed. So it means no one is really willing to die for this cause. No one is convicted enough to fight for something and die for it. Now, that is already a very big issue. Number 2, they're refusing because they're saying that the person will be compromised. So when you say that if you pick a leader, the person will be compromised, it means that we actually have a cultural issue when it comes to integrity. So why are you agitating to change leaders if you know that it's a cultural issue, the integrity issue? Isn't it the time for you guys to actually pick someone, bank on him? Let's see whether people actually have integrity in the country. And I do get your point, Kibe, when you're talking about someone like Cairo, though he's way gone now from the movement. Cairo has already said, he has explained how he made his money. We know what he does. When he was challenged on his ethics issue, he actually put up $1 million for anyone to come up and say, these guys sold me a bad vehicle. So you know that's a guy who actually has ethics, but you did not pick him. So this is the time for you guys to actually prove to the government that we have somebody who can represent our interests and cannot be bought. Can you prove that corruption is not actually a cultural issue, that we don't have an integrity issue in Kenya? Why are you scared? Is it because you know that you do not have anyone who is worthy of this position that McKenna is talking about? Because he's talking about integrity. Then why can't you pick one person who you believe that has integrity to go and represent your interests? Not even to represent, to be the face of the Gen Z movement, and you can bank on this person, they will never be bought because they have integrity. It doesn't make sense. That's what I came back to say. Yeah, let's prove to the government that we have someone who cannot be bought. Simple. Let this person be the face and let the government approach him. Let them do everything, but the person puts his foot down and says, no, this is what we want. Ruto must go. We are going to follow the constitution. We have lawyers behind us who are giving us advice. You have broken this in the constitution. You have to go and push it with a face on it. Let's see whether we can prove the fact that corruption is not a cultural issue in Kenya. So that's what I came to say, Andrew. Thank you.
You know, when it comes to picking your leaders, you must remove the emotion from it. I saw Duke of Kericho put up a tweet. I wish I could get that tweet now. Duke of Kericho, where can I get that tweet? There's a tweet he put up here. I want to show you these guys who are crying leaderless here. I will find it. I have time. Yes, I got it. 34 minutes ago, he says, if in case we need leaders, then it is Amerix and Omkia Omtata. and that should not be open to discussion of any kind. Hey, any car that you choose must be black. Wasike, jump on this one before I go to Liz and Omudi.
Yo, Kibe niaje?
Fiti, sama.
Niko fiti. Sasa hapa hii issue ni moja, na hii issue unaona Gen Z wenyewe ukiambiwa produce your leader, they are not going for Gen Zs. Wanaendea wazee. So what's wrong with Gen Zs? Umeambiwa leta leader yako mwenye tunataka, mwenye ni kiongozi ama ni youth kama we mwenyewe. Then unakataa kuchukua youth mwenzako, unataka kuchukua wazee. Amerix hayuko kwa Gen Z, hayuko kwa millennial ama something of the sort. Okio Mtata hayuko Gen Z, but mko mnataka mnasema you are leaderless. So I fail to understand their concept ni gani yenye wanatumia hapa kusema ati they are leaderless. Now, Gen Z is like a pregnant rat. Alafu kuna watu wanataka kufeed. So hawezi kula pregnant rat, kuna watu wanakula kutoka kwa hii movement. That's why unapata they are being protected. Una protect pregnant rat ili ziendelee kuzaa, ukule watoto wake. Sasa unakula watoto wake wakubwa, lakini mama hao mwenye ako pregnant huwa the Gen Zs haukuli kabisa. Gen Z ni movement iko kwa ile expressway. Alafu sasa kuna wale viongozi wanataka kujifix, wako kwa Mombasa Road. So wale wenye wako kwa Mombasa Road wasipopita na hiyo viko juu yao wanalalamika. That's unapata Amerix, Omtata, Alai, Boniface Mwangi, Nyakundi, Miguna wote walikuwa kwa Mombasa Road. Sasa wameamua kupanda kwa expressway ili movement ipite nao. Na kila mtu ana strategies. You have a prize. Prize yako ni ngapi? Number 2. Hii yote yenye ina happen na Gen Z ni theory. Ni kama ile tulikuwa naambiwa, mwalimu anakuja class anakuambia, Kibe, what do you want to be in future? I want to be a doctor. Wasike, what do you want to be in future? I want to be a pilot. Alafu mwalimu anatoka hapo anasema nini? Well done. Kwa kichwa unasema, mimi ni pilot, mimi ni engineer. Now, after form 4, wanakuambia wapi results sasa? Ndio tukuplace kama wewe ni engineer, kama wewe ni doctor. This when reality hits. This when all inatoka kwa kichwa wako, inakuwa sasa reality on paper. And that's what Gen Zs wanna fail to understand. Wako na good idea, wanatuambia kwamba Ruto out. Yes, Ruto out is a good thing. Theory. Now Ruto is out. Bring your papers, report cards. What next? Kila mtu ananyamaza. Tukifika tu kwa what next? Everybody's keeping quiet. Why? And that's why I can tell you this for free. If this Gen Z wanaona kama mtu kama Boniface Mwangi is their true leader, na uweze convince otherwise, if somebody of that sort anaonekana kuwa leader, na wewe mtu anako convince kwa akili yake kwamba Boniface Mwangi ni leader, then that person is wrong. Finally, once everything has settled, and this one I can confirm, na ni hata naweza bet on this, hivi itaendi kuwa about Gen Z anymore. Hivi tunaenda kuwa the big boys. Ulipewa pesa ngapi? Ukasaditi hii group na imeanza. So issue inaenda kuwa the big boys wanapigana wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Wewe ulipewa pesa ngapi? Ukatusaliti. Sasa itakuwa Otero nilipewa pesa fulani. Boniface Mwangi ulipewa pesa fulani. Hanifa ulipewa pesa fulani. Sasa hivi tunaenda kuwa kati ya watu wakubwa wa Jonya wanajifanya ni viongozi. But meanwhile, tukiendelea kusema ni Gen Z are leaderless, my friend. So long as you keep saying you are leaderless, forget. Hii kitu inaenda. Na mtapoteza hii movement yenyewe ilikuwa imeanza vizuri, mlikuwa na good intentions, but as we go down you are losing it. Thank you.
Omudi, what do you think?
How are you, my people? My name is Omudi Hamis, and it will sound like a brag, but I'll start with you, Andrew Kibe. Kibe, when in Mbaya, you are the guy who inspired me to start holding a microphone. You need to kuja kupigia one of these fine days. Kibe tumegongana naye mara mob sana, accidentally Mombasa na hii Nairobi, na bila kupanga yani. So this thing that has been burning in my heart, nianze kubonga. na wewe ndio uko unani inspire na kuuliza, tukimit to the first question niko na kuuliza gani, how do you do it? Ulikuwa unaniambia you are pointing at my phone, nasema hii simu nitakutoa. So I started talking and posting stuff on TikTok. Sina followers wengi, but I can assure you the trigger ya hii movement yote ni content yangu. The only problem yenye napata from TikTok messages ni kwamba hawa watoto wananiambia that I'm a pro Ruto, and I always give reasons. That's why hawajani cancel, you know. Hata Kibewe naona siku hizi unanilenga unipatia hapa microphone, once will realize nasema nini, don't go for Ruto. Hiyo tagline ya Ruto must go ndio iharibu hii movement yote. It's bigger than Ruto. Hii issue ni kubwa kushinda Ruto, na solution nishatoa ni moja yenye hakuna Mkenya anataka kudiscuss. Sasa hizi ndio discussion imeanza, na all those contents yenye nimepost, hiyo ndio talk inaendelea. Like the first post that I did about being flexible, I asked Kenyans, why don't you guys be flexible? This is a month before hii mambo ya finance bill ianze. I said Kenyans be flexible. Nikapeana example ya Switzerland, nikapeana mambo ya corruption nini. Immediately hiyo talk ikaanza. After hiyo be flexible content, nikatoa content about Switzerland. 2 days later Ruto akatangaza akasema nenda wapi hiyo Switzerland. I said how Switzerland is demonic. The reason why I believe my content is the trigger for all this movement ni kwamba I always mix with some spiritual stuff. You get the point? So mahali tunakosana na Gen Z ni mahali ama wananipinga ni venye mimi nasema nini, don't deal with Ruto. We go for the next of guys who have been stealing from us from 2013. In that, huyu Ruto mwenye yuko ndo mtamtumia kutengeneza hiyo sheria ya kunyonga watu wanawaibia. Cause hii shida zote ni chapa. Na mimi nakwambia Kenya, mimi nimesomea KRA. KRA imenifundisha Kenya iko na ganji. Kenya iko na ganji. Sasa mimi nataka, I always say, compress all your messages into one. Nyongeni wasi wameiba. Hiyo kitu imechange countries. Ndio hata Ruto akitoka hata mweke pale KRG the Don, mweke Donkey, mweke nini, it doesn't matter. Nchi imesafishwa. So I can tell you, as matters leadership, ni mtu mwenye ana control narrative. I might be small in terms of followers ama nini, but the spirit that is in me, I can assure you, my first real name ni Churchill. Soma story ya Winston Churchill, uta realize what I'm saying. To the run up to the Second World War, alidiscardiwa, he was thrown outside. Alikuwa mbali, no one was listening to him, but yeye alikuwa anaona everything in totality. Alikuwa anaandika vitu, anaandika nini.
Omodi, I cannot allow you to continue with this line of conversation because unatopoteza. Umeingia spirituality saa ngapi? Who has brought up spirituality for the last 2 weeks that right now you can bring it up? What's up with you, man?
You haven't. Nasema, you nishatoka about the spirituality. I'm explaining why I made some impact pale TikTok. Because the movement in Gen Z
why are we discussing that though?
I'm telling you who is controlling the narrative.
So are you the one controlling the narrative?
Of course.
Also this whole
last time you invited me in your platform, Papa, I said go for the next of the corrupt. Saisi mnaongelea hiyo corruption. That is 2 weeks after nisha insist na nisha toa content about it. Every content natoa kwa hiyo TikTok ndio mna discuss, but nyinyi mko late. Mna discuss a week later.
Because you're in the spirit. Which spirit are you using?
No, I'm not in the spirit. What I'm saying is the inspiration. The inspiration. Lakini wa Kenya ndio hawataki kusikia story ya spiritual, hawataki kusikia story.
Me, I want to hear it. I want to hear the inspiration. Where is the inspiration coming from?
My inspiration is Wajaluo wanasamanga juogi. You know, it's juogi means like demons za huko kwenyu, yani culture yenyu. Yani it's like, have you ever seen a very good musician mwenye hata hakusoma? Anasema tu akienda in trance mode, anaandika tu ngoma, anajipata tu anaandika, like he's being led by something that he can't understand. You get the point. Hata mimi siwezi explain hii kitu. It's something that I see because I see things in totality. Nikisema fanyeni, nikisema
so do you go like in a trance?
Yes. I do. I do.
And how long does the trance last?
if around an hour. Hata I used to think maybe nilikuwa nafikirianga ni mavitu nakula nikaacha, but the thing is still there.
And then
inanikuja tu kwa kichwa nikiongea.
So you stay in the trance for an hour. When you come back with all this information.
Yes, nachukua simu na record anything inasema huwa inafanyika exactly venye nimesema. That's why you are seeing this movement is iko confused.
No,
walinitenga the moment.
No. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Why are you gagging me, Kibe?
Because you're giving me the bullshit. I don't need the bullshit. Because now you want to play victim. I don't want you to play victim. I want you to stick to the story.
Okay, now the story is...
Now you wanted to say, oh, that's why they gagged me, because I don't give a shit about that. We are still on your story. We are back to where you are. You go into your hallucinations and you come back an hour later.
Yes.
And then how do we know what source that is?
I am telling you, I can't explain. It's something that is inside.
Good.
Ask me any question about...
No. Because we don't know whether that source is good or evil, do we?
That happened your shida. The only difference we are
happen ndio kuna kizungumkuti, because if we cannot establish whether the source is good or evil, then we cannot trust the information, can we?
The thing about spirituality, Stakani could dwell on that, it's because the country is divided. This thing is ideological.
No. Omudi. It's just you and I.
There's a cold war between religious people.
Omudi. We've gotten to the place where you cannot tell us whether the source of your information or the trance or the hallucinations, whether we can we know whether it's good or bad, right?
It is good.
But you just said you don't know whether it is good or bad. You just said you don't know whether it is good or bad.
Okay, can I finish my statement then?
But you said that just now.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
No, you said you don't know whether it is good or bad. So we're moving from that point. What other point? You want to go back on that? What you just said?
Yeah, let's go back.
Because you said you don't know the source of this information. You just know you go into a trance for an hour and you come back. So my point was, since you don't know the source of the information, since you don't know what is happening to you, then you cannot tell whether it is good or bad.
Ukiwa na ndoto ama vision, Kibe, how do you know the source of the vision? Usema tu maze, hey, hii ni ka deja vu. Like it's like I'm seeing something. Ama uone kitu semi kitu shefanyika. You know? Like a deja vu. Can you explain if a deja vu is a bad spirit or good vision? I
cannot write a book about it. I cannot go to the bank and tell them, hey, listen, I had a deja vu that you guys are going to give me $1 million. So this deja vu is just supposed to remain a deja vu, and you move on with reality. But you want to take us into your imagination.
Let me give you a good example.
And you want to blame us. You want to blame us because we did not listen to your advice from your imagination. I'm not blaming anybody, when you are in a trance.
What I'm saying is, last time on Nipe platform, nikakwambia nini? Hii shida ina boil down to what? Somalis versus Kikuyus. No, hata mtu akanipinga hapa akasema no, that's a conspiracy. 2 days later, ulisikia Isili maduka zilikuwa zinavunjwa za Wasomali. Mombasa, there was a Somali guy who was shooting at the crowd because they were attacking him.
No.
Was it not true?
No.
Anything nasema ina come to...
Okay, let's do this. Because we don't know what you've said before. I'll give you.
Do.
Hold up. I don't know. I don't remember. Omudi, come on. I don't remember everything anybody says. So I'll give you a chance to predict. Okay? So today is July 8th, 2024. So I want you to, I want you to predict and say, okay, this is my prediction. And then now me and you don't have to argue about anything. We just wait for the prediction to come true. And the day it comes true, then I'll come and worship at your church. What do you think?
No, it's not about a church. Okay, so I'll go ahead.
No, it's you who go ahead. You predict for us now what you're seeing in the future for the Gen Z movement and Ruto and Regade and any other thing you can predict. I'll give you 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Umenieka kama prophet, kama church. I'm not in the church or anything. Me see mtu ani church ama anything. But unataka prediction na nini umesema? Where this thing is going, the whole thing, the whole movement.
No, I mean, it's a spirit. So you just invoke the spirit. The spirit will know what to say.
You are trapping me, eh? Okay. Anyway, my main message is compress all your problems into one thing, into hanging the corrupt. Pass a law, mubadilishe katiba, mse yote anaiba anything above 1 million bob.
No,
That's the only solution.
No, Omudi, you're back to advising people. We want predictions. I want you to say, on this and this day, we shall be at Uhuru Park hanging the corrupt. Not what we should do. You tell us what will happen. You're a prophet.
I'm not a prophet. I'm a kitu ka psychic. Yani kitu being a psychic is not being a prophet.
Use that. Don't give us your fucking advices. Yeah, nobody needs advice anymore. Tell us on this and this day, there's going to be hanging of 6 corrupt officials, and they'll be coming from this ministry.
This narrative is being controlled by my staff. That's what I'm saying. Mutaenda even mrudi, but the conversation yote ina rotate around what I always say and post on TikTok. It will sound like marketing, but that's the truth. I'm not doing it for fun. It's really serious.
Bullshit.
Issue see Ruto must go.
Bullshit. Omudi, you know, the first few times you came here, you sounded very intelligent. And I was giving you a lot of leeway because at the time you were able to hold a real conversation. But now you've gone into your imagination, and I don't care for it. So I'll have to move on beyond you. Thank you, Modi. Thank you for coming through, bro.
Oh,
I cannot have this. Yeah,
this dictatorship.
Anybody who's na story ya Ziko. Unaanza kuniambia story za spirituality hapa. How the fuck is that reality? Can you talk reality? Ongea vitu real. Hata kuongea nonsense hapa hivi.
Everything I've said happened.
Kwenda huko wewe. Talk up Umudi. Talk up. Nonsense. Talking useless stories. Go reflect on your life and come back another time. For now, I don't have time to listen to you. Yeah, KOP, please save me from. Yeah, fight corruption.
Yo, hello, Kibe.
This will be ambiguous. What's happening, KOP?
Yeah, man, I'm good. So for me,
what spiritual direction do you want to take me into?
Wachana na Umudi. Hizo ni uchawi hizo. What the fuck? He's in his head. Achana na huyo. Okay, so for me, I just want to share like 4 things. Lakini kwanza, I will not forget, Kibe, what you did when we started the movement. Unajua, you were the first one to rubbish the whole thing. You came there like a puny, talking about, oh, there is no way you guys are going to do this.
No, KOP, please. I did not rubbish the movement. I questioned it. Okay. You guys are telling me, you're telling me that even right now at this stage that nobody can question the movement. What's wrong with you?
You started telling us about your era. Is that we tried this during the era of Moi? We did this during the that was some puny shit, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's some whips for you. That's puny lampistic shit.
No, but if you guys can whip me, then I should be also have the liberty to whip you, right?
No, I mean, you were trying to sell us. No. How can you come and tell us about Moi and Kibaki? I don't know what.
You don't have the conversation. So as long as you don't have the conversation, then hatuwezi ongea kitu mimi na wewe tuna imagine. Give me an argument now, okay? KOP, don't go back into the past. Give me an argument now that we can have a real argument, but don't go into the past unless you're playing a recording. So do you have a recording with you? KOP is you I'm talking to. If you have a recording, play the recording. They don't say what I said, just play the fucking recording.
Anyway, I see you're still in your ass. Okay, I'm just going to share the 4 viewpoints.
Do you have a recording? Do you have a recording?
There's something you said, because I remember people were bashing you and saying, "Oh, I think it was Instagram or something." I remember there was something, Kibe, you said. Then everybody was talking about it, so I had to go look for it, and then I saw the.
Do you have that recording? You cannot accuse me and tell me that people were saying this and this. No, play the recording. These days is very easy. Squeeze is lazima ati accuse mtu kitu haiko. Just play the fucking recording. Everything is recorded. I record all my spaces. Did you know that? Even right now, you're being recorded.
It doesn't have to be a recording, but me a writing or somewhere. I know I can find that shit. But anyway, that's
then before accuse me with some evidence. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and go to what it is that you wanted to say.
Anyway, that's besides the point. Okay, so the first one was something about Caliph Cairo. There's something you said about Caliph Cairo that I tended to agree. The Gen Z, I think we made a mistake on that because I'm a Gen Z, by the way. We crucified Cairo for all the wrong reasons. I believe this was the guy who was supposed to be, So, in fact, anyone who's saying that this thing is leaderless, how can it be leaderless? I mean, there's no way we can move forward. There has to be someone. I may not agree with everything that Caliph Cairo says or does, but somebody has to stand up. Because the first time, I've read about Caliph Cairo, a bit of it. I've seen his interviews. This guy is eloquent. I know he has chums. He's running the business thing. I don't know if it's a car dealership. He looks like someone who has a backbone, Because when the president was engaging with these other punies, because I just went in there for like 20 minutes and then I just went out because I saw everything was just like, this is planned. It seems so generic, like they had planned who was supposed to say what, and then now we're here talking about how Osama was bought. What did you guys expect? Definitely, Caliph, at least they were not going to buy him off that easy. I mean, I don't know, but that's my viewpoint. So the second thing is, yes, we won the demos, the finance bill. Ruto rejected the bill. And then all of a sudden, everybody turned to it's like an opposition party. You're saying Ruto must go. We sound like we are in Azimio. That was not the whole movement. The whole movement, yes, we wanted the finance bill gone. And then what next? So what fucked up the whole Gen Z thing? I think we went to war without a plan. That was one of the mistakes. We did not have any strategy. That is why tulifika huko tukasema reject. Okay, aka reject. Alafu mkaanza maneno ya Ruto must go. How must he go? Kwani mlikuwa mnataka kuu ama ilikuwa nini? Number 3, I believe Ruto he outsmarted us. Because he gave us what we wanted. Yes, we wanted the finance bill gone. Then what next? You guys said you want to engage him on X. Okay, he came on X. And then what next? Did you see what guys were asking on X? There was I think it's only one person who asked anything reasonable. Yani, kila mtu alikuwa anauliza stories za, okay, I'm not trying to tone down ama rubbish what happened to those guys, but everybody was, huyo karao mwenye aliua msee. Okay, those were some reasonable questions, but sasa was that all? Kila mtu sasa started licking ass. Kila mtu anaingia hapo, ana bow down. Oh, Mr. President, oh, Your Excellency. It's only one guy when I saw him somehow, at least he showed something, showed a stance. Okay, the last thing, Stagi Kongas, I know there's a lot of people here. I think we need people who are going to push the movement. The first person who thought was going to push the movement was you, Kibe. I was sure you were someone who was going to I know you're not a Gen Z, but we need, not all Gen Zs can be influential like Caliph, but we need people to push out these systems, anything that we are planning for. Wakwanza ilikuwa wewe, and then you went and did your puny shit. Number 2, mtu mwenye you guys are trying to push aside is Amerix. Let me tell you guys, I'm not saying I know him personally, but I've been following him the same way we've been following you, Kibe, for some time. Are you guys listening to me? Ama naongea peke yangu? Hello?
Tunangoja points, Joe. Tunangoja. We're waiting for points.
I'm on my last point. I hope you guys mmekuwa mkishika kenye nakwambia. Amerix ni msee mwenye angetusaidia kupush hii kitu. Nimekuwa nikifollow Amerix for some time, I'd say 4 or 5 years. This guy has a backbone, I'm sure of that. He was even approached a host history ya presidential nini. Alisema you can't buy that guy. Yani, Kibe wewe venye. Anyway, let me not go back to you. Lakini hiyo kitu ilibo sana. So such people ndo tunahitaji
you see the same thing you're doing is the same thing you guys did to Caliph, because you guys are saying that your movement has to be perfect. That's what you're saying. It has to be perfect. That's why the only person right now, according to you, And it's because you've never seen him anywhere physically, is Amerix. Because it has to be perfect. So your movement is a movement of perfection. That's why you're afraid of coming up with leaders. But the moment Amerix is to stand somewhere, when a labda amevaa kiatu size 4, then perfection disappears. You find out Amerix is 5'1", perfection disappears. You find out Amerix that hold up, don't interrupt, bro. I muted my mic, bro.
All good.
Yeah, mute your fucking mic, man. What's wrong with you? Just I didn't interrupt you. So what's all this interruption? A child. So your movement is looking for perfection, and perfection doesn't exist because your movement has to get leaders from within you. That's why right now you guys are looking outside to see who is at least a little bit perfect so that we don't kill him. Because the moment you guys realize Amerix is not perfect, you're going to kill him. That's why Amerix is not going to present himself to you. Because he knows as soon as he presents himself to you, you guys realize he's the same height as you. You're like, fuck him. He's not the guy we thought he was going to be. The moment Okiya Mtata farts the wrong way, he's out. Boniface Mwangi has been throwing himself at the Gen Z. They have rejected him. Because this is a movement of perfection that is lying to each other. So you guys have to get out of your own comfort zone. Out of your own comfort zone and start to be these people that you think you should be getting out here. Because if you don't do that, then what happens? Then your movement is weak, is going to be bought by anybody, and then come 2027, all these things that you're asking for will not exist. And I told you from the beginning, maybe even Mariam, maybe you should have had this. This cannot be a movement of issues. Issues are going to be discussed by the movement leaders. Because when you went to the president, you asked him, oh, we have this issue of reject finance bill. For him to kill the whole vibe is just reject the finance bill. It's very easy for him to do. Tell him, oh, get rid of a few ministers. Quickly, he's going to do that. As long as that pacifies you and you guys can go back to doing what you're supposed to be doing. So there's no real power there.
Okay, Kibe, so what I actually meant, aside from all that I've said, the only way that you are going to solve everything is going back to the root cause. Yes, we're saying Ruto must go, but there is a time, an example of like the next election, that is in 2027. At the moment, I'm not in the country, but I sent chums for people to go to the street. This is something I felt was, this was the time. Hii ndio ilikuwa time yenyewe ya ku make these people, feel that the power is in the people. Number one, there should be a political party for the Gen Zs. Najua kila mtu amesema hii. Where I come from is Bomet. Unaona, in the last general election yenye ilipita, the only party yenye ilikuwa ina exist huku ni UDA. Hadi there was something yenye wanaitanga suit. Suit is because unajua when you wear a suit everything matches. So home kwetu elections ilikuwa zinaisha time ya nomination. After nomination huko Bomet, nothing goes on. Juu hapo ndio mwisho nani? Party ni UDA, hakuna any other party. You can't stand and say anything. After nomination, kama umepita tu nomination hivi na ulichuziwa na UDA, automatically unakuwa elected to the seat. So hakuna party nyingine ilikuwa inaweza kuongea. That is how even though hao waliweza kufika huko. Ukiangalia sasa Bomet from huko governor, senator.
Hey, KOP, we all know what happened. So give us some new information.
Exactly, yeah. So if the Gen Zs are going to come up na kitu party that we can say, okay, we're going to...
Are you a Gen Z?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I am, yeah.
So do you see the value of Gen Z having at least their own representation? Do you see the value of that?
Yeah, why not? That's the whole point, actually.
And do you see the value of developing these leaders as well? Because developing leaders is as important as having leaders. Do you see the value of that?
Yeah.
So why are you guys focused on the issues and not focused on getting good leadership?
That is why I'm saying all this. Hizi zingine ni watu wanasema sijui, let us change the what. This one must go, trying to call this one out. It's not going to help. We have seen people fight for these systems for years, ages. Hata wewe mwenyewe usema you fought kina Moi, you fought kina Kibaki. What came of it? There was nothing. The only way ni to rudi back. Let's play, tucheze na hii game yao. Kama game yao ni stories za voting, let us do your mass voter registration venye nani alikuwa anasema Duke of Kericho. Hata Duke mwenyewe anajua kenye inaendelea Kericho. Ni upiuni tu inaendelea huko, na Mukicheza cheza 27 siwadanganyi. We can do all the spaces that we want. We can do all the demos. We can write all the posters. We can do everything. Lakini mwisho tu they'll go back to the ballot. Same thing happens. Alafu back to square one tena tunarudi tena Gen Alpha. Tunarudi tena.
Okay, hold up, KOP. I peer review tweets. Did you want to jump in on this one, or where did you want to jump in?
Something else as you continue, because I was waiting for him to finish and everything so that I start mine.
Okay, hold up. Just mute your mic for a second. Let's see if Wycliffe wanted to jump on that, and Duke as well. Anybody wanted to jump on that one? That one with KOP. If not, let's go back to Wycliffe.
Yes. Hi, Andrew.
What's up?
I'm all right. On this issue of leadership of the movement, I think that should be 100% way to go. I think we are coming from a different school of thought. There is the other generation and the new generation. A system is as good as the leader. We can have all the good systems, but if you have someone who is determined to destroy it, those systems and laws will not work. In fact, there's a debate in the US now that does the US need even a president? Because of one or two things here and there. So this movement, they need leadership, but I think it is something that needs to be cultivated now. It's a good discussion that needs to be moved forward. What I find a bit off is when Miriam tries to, insinuate that someone is backing up this thing. And we have had this narrative of Uhuru or ODM or who Raila or no. Let the leadership part be cultivated in this movement so that it can be formalized. It's something that can be able to move things forward. Otherwise, I support the leadership thing. Thank you.
All right. Duke. All right, Mariam, go ahead.
Yeah, Kibe, I still do struggle with some with your way of thinking, yeah, because just some minutes earlier you said that we should not be focusing on the issues, we should be focusing on good leadership. So I want to ask you, what is good leadership? Because to me, these things go hand in hand. The issue, okay, I'll give you just one issue, for example. So we would want, for example, at least 50% of our revenue to be focused on development, and then salaries to be 35%. That is a real issue. It is not a leadership issue. That is an issue that needs to be solved. So when you're saying that we should not be focusing on issues,
who is we? Who is we? When you say we would want, who is we?
Okay, I am saying that those are issues that people are agitating for example.
No. Who's people? Because
okay,
I've not heard it from anybody else. This is the first time I'm hearing it.
Is that so? Now,
so say I as Mariam, because it's not even your household that wants that. It's just you.
Okay, Andrew. So let's start from here. You're talking of good leadership. What is this good leadership that you're talking about? And what is this good leadership? What is good leadership to you? I'm just wondering, because from Saturday you've been talking
about you're running away from that point that you just fumbled. You fumbled when you went to the issues, because as long as it's issues, it's very personal, because that's what you want as Mariam. That's not what people want. Everybody wants something different. So how do we decide which is the way forward? Which voice is the strongest? Who decides the agenda? Isn't that the whole conversation that we're doing right here? Because if we decide this is what we want, we go with it. But how do we decide this is what we want?
But this is the same discussion that we left hanging on Saturday, because I asked you, what are some of the And I'm gonna even using the word issues, yes, sounds funny, but what are some of the issues that cut across the board? For example, garbage collection cuts across the board, street lighting cuts across the board. So those are real issues that affect everyone. Everyone needs water. Everyone needs good sanitation.
These
Such
are
things
these are
cut
just
across the board.
these are just management issues. These ones can be managed on a very local level through the MCA and the people around them. Those are management issues. The better the manager, the better the constituency or the ward. I mean, this is basic, Mariam. You know that. So we cannot go to the country and say, oh, our country, our problem is lighting. No, it's not lighting. Our problem is we don't have good leaders, because once you have good leaders, then lighting is a foregone conclusion. We don't need to be discussing lighting. These are basics. Like garbage collection, these are basics.
Very good. So let me now bring my point home. Now that somehow you're on the same wavelength with me. So the challenge is this. You see, all these things that you're actually agreeing on, that are things that need to be sorted across the board. The problem comes in when the budget is not enough for this problem. So that becomes an issue, that we don't have enough budget to deal with this. Even if you put Andrew there as a good leader, he's not given enough money to work on the issues that his people need. And I know you say people of Kibera have different
given money. So, given money by who?
Usually it's the national government that allocates money to the constituencies, right?
The work of the government, the work of the president, is to make sure that the government can run. Wherever he's going to get the money from, that's his business. He's the CEO of this company. True or not true, Mariam?
True. Now, did you really get my point?
I got your point, because you're trying to say, oh, there's no money, but the money is to be collected. It's for you to come up with innovations of making this money. That's why we're giving you the job. So so we don't come to you and tell you take this money and manage it. We tell you take the job and do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that this company runs the right way. The company called Kenya. But you want to go inside the management. You want to go give him the job and still manage the country with him. How is that possible?
You're still missing my point by a whole.
Okay, what is your point?
Okay, so this is what I'm going to try and walk you through it slowly. So you are talking about a leadership issue, but I am telling you that there are other issues that needs to be fixed to help the leader be a good leader. So for example, you, Andrew, you're a good leader. You're given Langata. So what happens is you will have this plan that will work to fix the issues of the people in Langata. But what happens is the national government allocates to you, let's say 1 billion. Let's just use 1 billion. Out of this 1 billion, 75% is going to operational costs and salaries, meaning you're remaining with this 25%, which cannot fix the issues that Langata people have. So at this point, the problem is not the leadership. The problem is that there's another issue of how the funds are being managed or whether they're being directed to that needs to be sorted. And that's why I'm saying that when you're saying that we don't need to deal with issues, we need to deal with leadership, there's a problem there. Those two go hand in hand. That you might give a constituency a very good leader, but as long as the system...
Which leader has been able to solve the ghost problem that we just put on our laps? Because when we look at a country like Argentina, the guy went in there and said, all this wastage here that you're talking about, that 70-75%, let's get rid of it, because this is wasting, we're wasting chums here. And he's been able to turn the country around. A leader is as important as the revolution. You cannot take the leader away. The quality of the leader is so important. It's like the quality of a husband or the quality of a wife. You fuck up with that, you're fucked up for the rest of your life. How dare you say that's not important? Because these issues are going to be there. Today, issues are going to change. The issues in Bomet and the issues in Langata are very different. So if you take the people in Bomet, electricity, street lighting, they don't need that, but it looks good. And you can take photos and say, hey, I've helped the people of Bomet, but have you really helped them? No, you haven't, because the issues are very different. So if today we are taking the issues to the table, what about tomorrow's issues? That's what I'm telling you, get away from the issues. Those ones will be solved on a very local level. That's why even the president was laughing when he was being asked questions about small issues. He's like, hey, bro, I'm the president. I deal with great issues. Put something real on my lap. But you guys want Mariam, aren't you the one who came here the other day telling us we need to chase the money that is in the sports ministry because that's the money that is for the youth?
No, you totally got me wrong. What I said at
No,
the last time I was
no,
let me correct you because you got me wrong. I said you have already ministries that are for youth, but they're being run by boomers. So you guys need to go and start from there. Those are your ministries. You need to go and manage them as youth. Go and ask, why are the youth not employed?
Exactly.
But you call it
How many
breadcrumbs, which
how
is
many
not true.
it is breadcrumbs, Mariam. We're talking about a whole country here. You're trying to direct people to a sports ministry. And this is a youth ministry. Go here to the youth ministry,
No,
get
I
100
gave
million.
an
And
example.
hold up. What you're trying to do is this: you're trying to tell them they belong in a certain place. No, I am telling them, and this is what Gen Z you need to hear. I'm telling you, the whole country belongs to you. Nobody should tell you what to do. Nobody should tell you where to be. Nobody should tell you this is the agenda. The whole country belongs to you. How dare you put the Gen Z in a box and tell them this is the box that you're going to exist in, and this box is called money that has been allocated by the government. Talanta Hela. Now the Gen Z are busy running after Talanta Hela, yet the whole country belongs to them. They have proven that. So why are you picking and choosing? So the issue here is do not focus on the issues because the issues will be sorted. Bro, issues always get sorted. So if you go with issues, it doesn't matter how many point plan you have. You got a 50-point plan, 50 points are going to be sorted. And then you're back in the streets looking for someone who can give you a mic so that you can say how agitated, how angry you are. No. You are asking the government to play fair in a game that they have never played fair in. Why are you playing fair? And hold up, Mariam and the Duke of whatever.
Can I correct you on something, please?
No, don't correct me. Don't correct me. Just go correct your nyanye. Just mute your mic for now. Kamankura, what's up? Hey. And you let these people, they are all like, now Mariam has her own agenda. She has come and she wants her own, to push her own agenda with her English. Hey, you know what you should be telling the Gen Z is that they should do this and this and this and this. That's an agenda. I think I don't know.
Okay,
Kamankura, go ahead.
Hello, Kibe. Thank you for giving me this chance. First, I'm a millennial. In fact, millennial limbo. Niliponea Gen X kidogo. But that's besides the point. In 2013, because I think that's when we lost direction as a country. Because the economy was doing well and we weren't really concerned with good leadership. We voted along tribal lines. And ukiangalia, the guy who was making sense at the time, in my view, was Peter Kenneth. But the number of votes he got was very little. The point is, I atakuwa issue based. Now, Gen Z, yes, it's a good thing wamefanya about issues. That's a wonderful thing. And on this issue, yeah, a leader. In 2013, I remember thinking, if there's a way we can have, it's not practical, yes, but if there's a way we can have issues on the ballot where we vote, Kamani, we should, as a country, we should spend more on this, that kind of a thing. Now reduce this. Now, where the Gen Zs are at the moment, without a leader, it becomes anarchy, to be honest. Agenda hakuna. But now, if for starters, say like to polls to Twitter, people do every now and then. If they could set up such things, kama is okay, yes, it's things that have been settled, but I'll use it as an example. Kama your first ladies and our spouses, your Taki, have a couple for that, people vote, then that becomes clear. Various things, so that now when they're negotiating with the government, at least the issues that can be tackled. See, just anarchy. You get my point. Hello.
No, I'm trying to get your point because you're still living in your imagination. Right now, you can hear people. Not here. You can see the jostling that is going on, even for things like this. Kamankura, and that is where I'm taking you. I'm taking you to a place where You guys at least see that making a decision is one of the hardest things ever. And Gen Z are not ready to make a decision.
Yeah. Hello. Hello, Andrew.
I hear you. Finish up.
Oh, okay. My suggestion would be, okay, just because something has never been done doesn't mean it's not doable. So yes, it makes more sense for them having a leader, because that would give a more clear direction. But if they to continue the way they've decided to be leaderless, which is okay, at least let them set it as issues. Even if it's having those mini polls where now they can know, yes, there's the issue of bots here, but I don't think that's a big deal. But where
Come on, Kura, we cannot agree on anything. So even when you're talking about these polls, which polls are we going to trust? Which polls are we going to use? Which platform are we going to use?
Like yours, and all these.
Yeah, I mean, look at us. We only have 1.4 thousand people listening. Yesterday, Amerix had 80,000 people listening. Right? The other day, Kimuzi had 100-something thousand. The other day, the president had this number of people. Right? So there's no one platform that you can say this is the platform that is going to conduct this, is there?
That's not my point, Kibe. What I'm saying is, you can imagine if you had like those many polls, you share it, Amerix shares it, Kimuzi shares it, even the president. Well, okay, I don't know about the president. Let me leave that aside. But if such a thing were to happen, so that when I clear direction, these are the demands that people have, and they'd like to have them met. Otherwise, it becomes anarchy. And yes, the other solution obviously would be now having a leader, which that's not something I think they're ready for.
And now also, just to put a spanner in your works. Okay, thank you, Kamankura. Just to put a spanner in the works. You guys have to understand, you must also decide on the questions. You must decide on the issues. You must. You can't just have issues that have not been decided on. So you must have a deciding mechanism. We have decided that this is what we are agitating for. And you know, the beauty about Reject Finance Bill was it caught everybody by surprise. It was either you're rejecting the finance bill or we kill you. So we all had to reject the finance bill. But now the next one, everybody's asking, okay, now good. We rejected the finance bill. Okay, we gave you that. What is the second one? And who has decided that this is what we want? Because Mariam is here telling us what we want. But when you push her kidogo, you realize there's no consensus. It was just what she wants. And she's here to tell people what they should want. Same thing with Duke. Hey, we are only going to pick 2 leaders. And if anybody says anything different, they are evil. Duke. Duke of Kericho, network is not working. All right, let's move on beyond Duke. Lixel roles. Lixel roles going once, going twice. All right, let me.
Yeah, Kibe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, nilikuwa ati around the issue ya ati this movement is based on just an idea and ati we are not supposed to have a leader. That is just bullshit, because already we do have leaders, because these influencers should think of themselves as leaders, because influence turns to leadership, and they know that it's a fact and they understand it. So the fact that they will go online and start telling people that we don't have leaders, but they are the one posting these posters, people are following them. People are following these instructions. So they should not go out here, post instructions, and then tell people we don't have leaders. They should actually come out in strong numbers and tell us they are our leaders, and really just push it to their limits. But the agenda, there is where the problem is. Our main problem is that we have so many agendas, but the approach to the agendas is becoming propaganda. And that is where we are messing up. And with time, this is going to fade off, because everyone is trying to push their own ideas into this. And the fact that most of the Gen Zs and millennials, we are suffering from political PTSD, leadership deficiency, spiritual conmanship. So it is so easy to manipulate this crowd right now. And the agenda, when the agenda keeps shifting from left to right, it becomes so easy for anyone else to just come and penetrate and push their own agenda so easily. And that is where we are going wrong. So unless we are going to do something really serious about what we want, because everything that we want, the constitution already provides for them. There is not where the problem is. I see people talking about a referendum. I see people talking about amendments. Most of these things that we are talking about are provided in the constitution. So that is not where our problem is. Our problem is that the system is broken. The people who are handling the system, they have found ways in the constitution and in their own mandate to try and play around with our fundings and our facilities, so that it, to their own benefit, to their own selfish gains. And that is where we need to work on. So the way we are taking these directions, we are really messing up, because we are really not putting our focus to where the problem is. We are actually picking on people who are actually pushing the agendas that we need. People who are ready to sacrifice themselves, we are actually crucifying them, of which it is becoming a problem even to have the leader, because now if you come out right now, Kibe, and say you want to be a leader, trust me, you by tomorrow your accounts will be blocked, and that is going to be a problem, because no one is going to stand up and say anything, because if you say anything, you're going to be crucified. Kibe, that's me.
Thank you, Lixel. Rolls, appreciate that. Who
Yeah.
goes next? Who goes next? John Oti Josh. Go ahead.
Yes, Kibe, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yeah, I want to attempt to go on a long journey, but it won't be so long, because looking at all this whole thing, I look at the Gen Z as another opportunity for the same old players of the game to cause another distraction. We've seen this game before. I'm a millennial, by the way, but I'm part of the millennials, so close to them, but enough to see what is going on. The whole of this game, as we come to understand, is a game of money. And our president currently, he's the only one who can provide a solution to this game, but he's also part to blame. Part to blame because of how he handled it. Gen Z are very easy for him to handle. He's a very genius politician. He's a clever politician. Maybe the blunder I can say he did was killing a section of them. He would have just sat down and let them do their thing. At the end of the day, sit down with them, like the way he did on the spaces. That was very simple. But I look at our president as someone who is overpowered by some forces outside his control. He's the president. Yes, he can control the country, but outside forces prevent him from being who he wants to be. Because on one end, we saw the politician campaign and tell us a bunch of promises. I know politicians lie, but I don't believe he will lie to this extent. And at a ripe age in his leadership, lies begin to the end of your second term there, when you're so comfortable, you've attained everything in power, and you're about to leave. That's when you get a little bit cocky and decide to do what you want. But at the beginning, we've seen so many presidents. We saw Kibaki, we saw Uhuru. At the beginning, he was massaging the public. And I believe there are outside forces that are interfering with the president. That's why on one end, I tend to blame him for everything. On the other end, I understand he's not to blame for everything. Outside forces, I mean people like the World Economic Forum, the IMF. We know these guys and what they do to countries, especially third world countries. We've seen them do what they do in Haiti. They threatened a whole prime minister to the extent of killing him and almost killing his wife. What do you think our president is going through? I look at him as someone who is compromised. Our country is said to have resources. It is said to have power. It is the economic hub of East Africa. We are not a small country that the West will want to stay away completely from. So I look at the force that the Gen Z came up with The Gen Zs were on a right trajectory. And I sat down with them. These guys don't want much. They just want a working system. By a working system, I mean where they can walk into a hospital, they receive their treatment, and they go home. They can do their businesses. If it's taxes, they're not they comply. They don't. It's not that they don't want to pay taxes. Something like the finance bill, that was a vehicle that old politicians and old players of the game took advantage to ride on. But Gen Zs were not complaining about the finance bill. They were complaining about the systems. They just want to see the systems working like how they've been raised. These are kids who have been raised by parents who provided everything for them. They wanted to go to the good schools, they were taken there. They wanted the good meals, they were taken there. They wanted the funfair and the trips, they were given. So they come out in a system where it's not such. And they have the masses. Right now, they are the majority in our country. They are 18 million. They have the power to change the regime. Whether we like it or not, whether we ignore them or not, they have discovered at an advanced stage they have the power to change it. And right now, people like Miguna are opening up their heads to telling them they have the power through the vote. A reality like the president must go, they've realized it has failed, but they realize they have the power at the vote. And I'm here to tell them the vote is a bigger game than even William Ruto. I remember when Raila lost the election in 2022, he came out and told us the game is bigger than Kenya. The game is bigger than Kenya. It has taken us a long time to realize that, but the game is bigger than Kenya. We have outside forces that our president is really struggling to control, and they can't come out and tell us openly that, hey, I'm dealing with this and that. I'm dealing with this and that. But there are things, maybe he found them in power, and looking at the former president, how he has stayed away from power tells us how complex it is. And looking at our current president and how he has changed ever since he took power, contrary to what he promised, tells us how complex the seat is. Power is not what most of us imagine. It will take the Gen Z some time to realize that. And if they really want change, they must be willing to go all the way. And death notwithstanding. They are complaining, I don't know, 500 people died. 500 is little. They can ask us millennials how much we saw in 2007. I was in class 7 then. We saw deaths like never before. And we were told by our parents back then there were more even. The more cool, there were more. So it's a complex game that did not start yesterday. Gen Zs have to sit back and look back in history and relate it to the current times and chart their future. Otherwise, it will be another gimmick. We are told of such instances being seen back in time. Where did they end up? It's an old game that they have to understand how deep it goes. Otherwise, they'll lose the track. And once you lose the track, you remain the same whiners like us millennials. Look at us millennials. Millennials are the guys on Twitter who are complaining. We are the ones opening spaces, complaining, whining, chatting constitutional phrases. Oh, the law, nini, we can impeach. Gen Zs are not about that. They're on the streets. It's about the streets. They're saying Tuesday they'll be on the streets. They will be there. Whether police are there or military, they've proven they will be there. But also, millennials are the ones who are whining on the social media platforms. We're the ones who are complaining because we have been already fucked a good one by Uhuru Kenyatta. The 10 years he did us a good one. That is our blame. That is when you hear a lie talk about Uhuru Kenyatta's faults, those are millennial whiners. Now we are looking at Gen Zs and what they'll turn out to be with the Ruto regime. Thank you.
Thank you, John O.T. Josh. Mercy, are you there? Mercy None. All right, if Mercy is not there, Cleophas, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Kibe. Actually, first, I like to say thank you for always standing for what you believe in, even though at some point we were able, our majority were able to box you to actually join in what you didn't believe in fully. Though we all at some point believed in rejecting the finance bill, and we fought against the finance bill wholeheartedly. But in standing with what you once said, and you always say, and you actually said it today, a movement without a leader is as good as dead. And the thing is, this Gen Z movement is more of a...
Kibe, bring me back. I can't hear Cleophas, please.
Hey, Kibe, can you hear me?
Yeah, Cleophas, go ahead. I don't know who's saying that. Who was that?
It's Wycliffe. It's Wycliffe who said he can't hear me, so I was wondering if you can hear me. So,
Yeah, I can hear you.
as
Go
I
ahead.
was, thank you, Kibe. So, as I was saying, I honestly believe that if Gen Z really want to move forward, they really want to listen to voices like your voice, because you providing a very crucial voice at a very critical moment. Because we can't go on saying we are leaders. At the same point, we getting instructions from quarters we don't know. What if, Kibe, we getting these orders from NIS? What if we getting these orders from Ruto himself? Because this politics, in politics, anything can happen. So if we are leaders, who is the source of the instructions we're taking? And then, Kibe, we've been boxed into taking stupid orders to push narrative of a political party. For example, we all know, or at least we all now appreciate the fact that Ruto must go is a narrative that not gonna come to an end, at least to the next general election. So who is going to benefit from this narrative when the Gen Z actually want results now, today? So you can't literally advise them, hey guys, come here, bring your leaders, be on that fucking table, and let what you want be discussed now. They say, hell no, we are leaderless, Ruto must go. That's not gonna happen. So who is going to benefit? Look around, Kibe. Azimio is taking that shit so serious. They're pushing that narrative. Ruto must go. But they know it's not gonna happen. But they also know in Kenya, it's possible to do politics for the whole fucking 5 years. So they will keep playing with the emotions of Kenyans, keep playing with the emotions of Gen Zs until the next general election, so that when that time comes, they will bring their own choice, and then Gen Z will support, because Gen Z are not even prepared. They don't have leaders, but they don't have people to look up to. That's why they came up with names like Matiang'i. You asked a very genuine question. Who proposed that name? Who brought Matiang'i into the matrix? Maybe the same people who just brought that name Omtata, though I also believe in him. I believe in him. I wanna declare my interest so that nobody questions me. I actually believe that someone like Omtata, for some reason, he has stood a test of time. But that's a discussion for another day. But there is someone somewhere who is trying to pull the strings to see what the Gen Zs are thinking like. Again, this Gen Z movement, Kibe, has been hijacked by people who are not even millennials. Millennials have been done to be just but influencers. Somebody sends them some posters, then they push them online. So ours is to push an agenda. And then when a voice like yours comes up and say, hey guys, come here, let's talk, let's ask questions. Who is this person? Who is pushing this agenda? We are leaderless. How do we get our narrative? How do we get our agenda? How do we come up to this? We say Occupy Afya Center. Who came up with the idea? Occupy CBD. Who came up with that idea? Occupy State House. Who came up with that idea? Nobody want to give an answer. Do you know why? Because we are all fucking confused. We are following people that we don't know, people who are faceless, and that's felt scary, Kibe, because we might be headed by some cult members, some bad people, some bad people who want to take over this country, or who want to turn us into Congo or something else. So I really believe that if we want to move forward as a country, we need to be honest with ourselves. Our Gen Z brothers and sisters need to be serious, and they need to come up and say, okay, now let's choose our leaders. Nobody's gonna be perfect, but let's have the face of this movement, so that if we need our president on the table, we say, hey, Kibe, go represent us. So and so, go talk on our behalf. We can hold spaces, share our ideas, say what we want, and then now you go ahead and represent what we, the people, want. Because at this point, I believe that most people have realized Ruto is just one of those politicians you can't box to the corner. So we came up with the reject the finance bill. We believed he's not going to reject it. He did. We came up with the idea of the national debt. He did the unthinkable. He went for this faith. The person we strongly believe that, she's against him. The person that we all think, if our thinking is correct, that cannot actually side with the government. So Ruto is like, hey, not only am I going to have a team out the national debt, but I want the LCK president to be part of that team. Again, we chicken out. We like, no, we don't want. You already have somebody who can do that job. So, Kibe, we can't go on like this. Let's have our leaders, or else let's just fuck off. Let it be. Let's just continue, because if we don't have leaders, then we're just pushing for anarchy. Nobody want to live in an anarchy. We want a government. We must always have a government. We can't say Ruto must go, and then when you ask people, okay, when Ruto leaves, who comes in? They like, oh, when he leaves, we're gonna figure out. Power does not entertain vacuum. We can't have vacuum in leadership. You can't have a president live even for a minute. That's why even Ruto, when he leaves to another country, he leaves Gachagua to take over. You can't have a country without a leader at any given moment. So I'm calling upon all the Gen Zs listening to me, the millennials. Let's come up with leaders who are gonna lead us. If we don't want to, then let's just fuck off and do whatever we're doing in our lives and continue with what we're doing. All at most, keep pushing for issues. What Miriam said about issues. Let's keep pushing for issues then.
And Cleophas, do you know that if Osama hadn't happened that day when he hosted the president, if Osama hadn't happened, the lady who was elected by the president, the LSK lady, do you know she would have taken that job easily if Osama didn't happen?
Gladly. And you see, the thing is, we said, actually, Kibe said this in the morning. The president said, okay, I'm going to host this shit. And people were like, in every space, no, you can't host us. We're going to host you. And then Ruto being Ruto, he got Osama to host him. And then we were like, hell no. How? A sellout. But I know so many people, like, let's be honest to ourselves. Maybe even Kibe, if he would be honest enough, if the president offered him the opportunity to host him, gladly, he would have gladly did so. Like, but the president, I think Osama is a Gen Z. Let's be realistic. Kimusi is not, Amerix is not, Kibe is not, most of us are not. So the president actually went for a Gen Z to host him. And then we so fucking mad. Why are we mad? Why are we mad? We wanted the president to come to space. He came. Whichever way it was done, okay, it was done. Like, we need to move forward. We need to fucking move forward. Ruto must go. It's a narrative that we just pushing, but we know it has no ending. That narrative has no ending. There's no fucking way an African president gonna leave office for you to come in. People gonna die. So many people gonna die. Millions of people gonna die for that to happen. Who is willing to die? And I keep telling people, as much as they hate on us, if I'm sitting somewhere in Washington, D.C. right now, I must keep off fucking telling my fellow Kenyan brothers and sisters, I'm going to send you some $10 so you go to the streets and die. If I believe in that shit, we all going to stand up, go back to our country and be on the streets. Let's all die there so that we all fight on the street. This fucking idea of people putting money first is what going to kill us. We can't always sell out for money. And then we're going to blame Osama for taking some money. No, if you believe you can send some people some dollars to go down the streets for what you believe in, then let Osama also die for what he believes in. Period. Let's be respectful. Let's be fair to everybody. So I honestly believe that this idea of Ruto must go, as much as we want it to happen, it's not happening. So what's the way forward? Let's listen to other voices. Let's stop being a cult that if you don't for us, you are against us. No, a good idea gives room for a better idea. We need leaders. This movement cannot continue being faceless, because there are some people might be behind this shit who are worse than Ruto, and we are gladly clapping and following them. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? We must know who the leaders are. If we have no leaders, somebody come and tell us who sets the agenda of the day. Thank you.
Hi, Kibe, can you hear me?
Mercy, I can hear you.
Okay. I was listening to my brother Cleophas, and from where I stand, it's like he doesn't really understand what he's talking about, because he's talking about the Gen Z from his own point of view. He doesn't know how the movement started, like, because he has not been in one. Like, you have not been in this space. So you can't just come up with assumptions about having leaders. Like, we are leaderless. We just said we are leaderless because the finance bill was going to be politicized. If we couldn't say we are leaderless, we are fearless, like the things. So if we had a leader, it was so clear that people would start saying this thing of this movement is funded, it's done this and that, as we understand our country. But now telling us that we should have leaders is a point for another time. This time we stood for this thing of finance bill and it's down. We are now up for this thing of Ruto must go. So you can't just come up from nowhere and you
So,
had
Mercy,
this idea from the, yes?
so we are past the finance bills, indeed. That one you
Yeah, we
guys
are
came
past
out
the
and you put
finance
it down.
Yeah, now
So
the
who told you
finance
Ruto
bill is,
must go? So it's not you guys who said Ruto must go.
we are the ones who said Ruto must
No,
go because of,
no, Mercy. No. You guys went to the streets as Gen Zs to say let's reject the finance bill. Ruto must
and the
go came
finance
from
bill was,
someone or some
it
people.
didn't come from, you people just pick from your own assumptions. Like, you go to social media, gather information, then you just, you
Excuse
don't
me,
know
Mercy.
the whole
Can
thing.
you hear me?
Yes.
Do you want me to defend myself, since you said I just came in and jumped into the issue that I wasn't part of?
Yeah.
Actually, the thing is, Mercy, I was among the very few people, or the very many people who stood for the agenda of rejecting the finance bill. If you want to know, you can go back to my tweets and see. I've always rejected the finance bill. And that's why when I
You
opened my
reject online, my brother, but for us, we did not want to do this thing online, going online and pushing others to go to the streets.
So
We say this
what do you
time we
mean
are
I
going and
rejected
speak
this thing
outside.
online? Mercy,
You
hold on.
rejected
Like, you just
via
making
Twitter.
assumptions. You just making fucking assumptions. How do you know I rejected this finance bill online? That's an assumption. It's like we slept with you the whole time we were rejecting the finance bill. Were we together, Mercy? No. Please allow me take my stand and make my statement. That's why when I opened my statement, I said, I believe that the only man who actually believed in his beliefs from the beginning until we boxed him to actually join us was Kibe. Because Kibe was always kind of like, hey, hold on, before we do this thing, who is pushing us? Who is behind this thing? But we all told, hey, this thing gonna affect all of us. So we are rejecting the finance bill. We don't care about your tribe. We don't care about your race. We don't care about who leads who. A finance bill gonna hurt all of us. So we all stood to reject the finance bill because we didn't care. We didn't care who brought up the idea. We didn't care who was the leader, because we all believed in the idea of rejecting the finance bill. Okay, Mercy? And to just
Okay,
confirm
so
to
that's,
you, and on that finance bill, in one of the whatever shit, I was on the ground. I was fucking there. If you want some videos, I can send you some videos to your inbox, okay? I was on the ground.
that's more
Stop making
important, right?
assumptions. I rejected the finance bill, not just online, but physically. But on the idea of Ruto must go, that's what wasn't a somebody somewhere is setting the record, is setting the agenda for all of us to follow. And then we keep saying,
No.
Okay, Mercy, so did you come up with the idea Ruto must go?
You are politicizing the whole thing, like
I'm not
your own agenda,
politicizing
your main
nothing.
point
I'm not
here.
politicizing.
Excuse me, please.
Being
Your point
critical
here is
doesn't mean
like you just want to find out who is behind this, because you are not behind that. Why can't you just stand with what you believe in? If you support whatever is being said, or if you don't support, why can't you just pick a side and stand there, instead of trying to find out who's behind everything? Like, can't you see what's happening in our country?
Mercy, the thing is, being critical and always accepting to use your mind a little bit more, or exercising and jogging your mind a little bit more, doesn't make you a bad person. In any way, it helps you understand issues better and be able to defend what you believe in. So the thing is, you all are trying to run away from defending what you believe in, because probably you don't even know what's going to happen next after Ruto must go shit. If you know what's going to
Who told
happen
you
next,
we
you should not
don't
be.
know?
Okay, so what's going to happen
Just
after
because
Ruto must go? What comes?
just because everything isn't laid down for you people to speak about or talk
So
about,
we like, that's
doesn't
the
mean
question,
something is not
Mercy.
there.
That's the fucking question we're asking. Who is saying these things? So now you're just saying just because these things are not laid out for us to know, then doesn't mean what? So who is laying them down?
That's why I told you, Mr. Cleophas, your own point here is to find out who is behind all this. Like, you're just interested in finding out who is behind this. What if I told you no one is behind? People just hold discussions the way we hold, the way Andrew Kibe has hosted us here is the same way we people sit down. We don't just go on social media and just hold conversations. We sit down and discuss with our fellow Gen Zs from other parts of the country.
Thank you,
We talk
Mercy.
yeah. I hope now you are
Thank
instead
you.
of just going there
Yeah,
and
I'm
finding out.
understanding, and I also hope that you can also have some good listening skills to listen to me and get what I said. I said actually I even wish that we had some form of leaders, even if they be dictators. But now what you allege to is what I fear might be the situation, whereby we don't have leaders. It's just a group of young people like you coming together and saying, let's do this. So if Ruto goes, you don't even know what to do next, and we get ourselves into anarchy. Mercy, you may
Mr.
never want to
Cleophas,
live in an anarchy situation.
okay.
You may not want to wish
There's
to be in
something
Congo for a
called
moment of that.
Mr. Cleophas, there's something
Yeah.
called strategy. I hope
So
I think by now you don't understand that because you are not in that space. There's something called strategy. You can't just come up once, then all of a sudden you have a leader. This thing has to take time. Like, you have to sit down and identify amongst yourself who amongst us can lead this thing. But for now, you just can't come and tell us we need a leader. Like, we just push people out of nowhere, or we just pick any other person. There's something called strategy.
a strategy without a leader, any movement is as good as their leaders. Like, that's what any right thinking person will tell you. And just to help you understand, because I think you kind of think those of us who are pushing this idea of leadership is because we like the government of the day. Just to let you know, we don't like the government of the day. We are paying the price. We are suffering. We all find it difficult to cope in this kind of environment and economic terms. But we also smart enough to say we need something concrete, something that can actually help us get to a better place, than we are now. Like, what will it benefit you to push us from Kenya to Sudan, to push us from Kenya to Somalia, to push us from Kenya to DRC or to Haiti? We can do that. It means that we are against this movement. We are not against this fucking movement. We are for this support. We believe in this movement, but we need clear leadership, clear instructions. Even when people, you say about strategy, even when the army go to wars, they need a leader, they need command, there's a command chain. You must take instruction from one person at a time. We can't have different sources of information that we telling you must be making noise because you believe maybe the information is coming from where you think it's coming from. For information, it might be coming from Ruto himself. He might be sitting somewhere setting the agenda for us so that we are busy discussing nonsense while they are doing stupid stuff in their offices. We need clear leadership with the okay, if Ruto goes today, if he goes today, what happens? That's a question that any person should be able to answer all tell because we can't get ourselves into anarchy. We can't push our generations to come into anarchy because whatever we do today, Generation Alpha might also want to do it. Other generations to come may also want to do it. So if we do it now, we must do it right. We must get it right so that when history is written, because history has a way of repeating itself. So don't think like whatever thing we're doing now, it may not happen again. Actually, we have set the record. Going forward, if the people feel the government in the power is not doing enough, this is the same fucking shit they're gonna do. So we must do it well. We must make sure we are not losing many of our brothers and sisters on the street. We must get a better strategy to save lives and also to have a better transition. Or else, Mercy, we will continue pushing this agenda for some political parties somewhere. And when we're done pushing the agenda, when the 2027 elections comes, they will ambush our feelings and say, hey, you remember this Ruto is the man we don't want. So vote for this other guy. And you know who that old other guy gonna be? Some old fucking shit, some boomer, some good to die person. It's the person we're gonna vote for as an alternative to Ruto. That's not what we want. We want to create our own leaders. And this goes back to what other speakers were saying, including Kipe. Like most of us, we are expecting a perfect leader. Somebody wanna be perfect in everything. We're not gonna get that perfect person. That's why we keep assassinating people who kind of emerge to be leaders. That's why people were easy to assassinate Calf, that guy, Calf kind of guy. They assassinated him just because he said, hey, hold on. Guys,
Cleophas, hey, Cleophas, umeenda sana bro.
Okay, bro.
Sounding like Martin Luther. Hold up, Cleophas and Mercy. Hey.
I hold up.
All right, just mute your mic for a second. I want to hear from Gloria. 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 Yeah. But Cleophas, you had some very good points. Just that you decided to repeat yourself, but you had some very extremely good points. Mercy, were you done? I think Gloria is missing in action. Let's get rid of Gloria. Mercy. All right. Mercy. Go ahead, Mariam. Mariam, people say I'm keeping you here because you have been planted by the government. Is that true?
Well, hey, guys are paranoid out here. I've seen that I'm NIS, Maras G, I'm your, what have they called me? There's something, spanner girl.
Sugar baby.
I wanted to address these guys are so paranoid. Mercy, please, this was for you, and it's a very quick one before the next speaker comes in, and I'm going to even throw myself under the bus while saying this. The reason why people are asking what's your plan or what's next is because as you are shooting down the finance bill, for example, we're able to do it, but we never asked ourselves what next. So the president had already asked himself what next, and he went on and took a loan. So we are going to pay for that loan whether we like it or not. So the what next question is actually a very important question. And when you have a leader who is giving you some kind of, we'll cover those what next questions, then it means you won't make a misstep. Just right now, when you're saying Ruto must go, MPs must go, there's someone who is ahead of you with the what next, but you don't have the answer to the what next. The person who has that what next answer is the one who is going to take over this whole, not even the movement. They're going to steer the direction of where people are going to head. So what next is very important. I also ignored that question initially, but I now see the importance of asking yourself after we achieve this, what happens next? Someone is up there with a checkmate. You've not thought ahead, but someone has already thought ahead of you. So yeah, I wanted to tell Mercy that, Kibe. Ikibe, I'm done.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, Gloria.
Hello. Oh, okay. So for me, my first point is on this issue of anarchy and we are going to become like Congo and become like whoever else. Those people got there when already the country was in anarchy. The presence of a leader, you could have a president, but you're in anarchy. It doesn't mean power is symbolic, is metaphoric about what people do. So you are there stealing from citizens. You don't care. You don't have feelings about what they're going through. You are gaslighting citizens, telling them, oh, bread, diabetes, and that thing of bread historically has been used, and it has always led to a revolution. It has always led to a revolution. Matters bread. So basically, we are not saying bread. When you tell people bread will give you diabetes, you simply means you don't care about the basic needs of people. That is food. So history, anarchy, and whatnot. Look at it this way. Kick polio out of Kenya. That is something that people did, I don't know, in the 90s. Most countries have kicked polio. Right now in hospitals, we don't have vaccines. Watu wakianza kupata polio saizi watu wanalema. Isn't that anarchy? In this century, this is, which year are we in? 2024. Kenya ndo ikuwe na watu walemavu. Something that could have been avoided. There are no drugs, there are no vaccines in hospitals. What other anarchy are we looking at? People don't have jobs, people are suffering. What other anarchy are we looking at? So let's not take things literally. Let's not take things literally. When people say Ruto must go, it's symbolic for a dirty system. And he is the head of that system. So we are saying, personally, I'm saying it. And if someone doesn't want Ruto to go or feels like it's going nowhere, it's fine. It's a free world. But let us not dictate to people what they want. If you're okay, or even if you're not okay, but you think it will fail, it's fine. The same way people thought reject finance bill was going to fail. It's the same way somebody else, kama yako ilikuwa reject finance bill, ndio hiyo imeenda, wewe sasa umeshuka. It's okay. It's okay. We don't have to fight one another over what things people want. It is fine. Yeah, nobody should force another one. And we are here insisting on leadership, leadership, leadership. They went leaderless with the reject finance bill. Didn't it fall? So why are we insisting on things? All these things are metaphoric, are symbolic, because once people have leaders that are recognized, that have certain authority, that are seen, when these people go and negotiate on your behalf, what if what they're negotiating is not what you wanted? What if they are bought then for their own interest benefit and you have not benefited? That's how the movement gets legitimized. Because now if you decide, okay, they've gone there, serve their own interests, you're going to the streets, you'll be told, but your leaders negotiated. What are you doing on the streets? So even the street thing, there are many ways of protesting. Even the street things, It's an individual who decides. Yeah, somebody could shout, could spend the whole night here on space telling people, go to the street, mobilize, mobilize. No, but as an individual, you look at it, is it a worthy cause? Is it something worth taking me to the streets? So many things have happened, and not always do people take to the streets. Others go, others will not. We've had so many issues. It's not just the reject finance bill. We've had children dying in school. But you will see a mother leave, go to the street. Other mothers will come, but not every mother will go to the street to support that mother. So at the end of the day, we are doing exactly the same things that you are gaslighting Gen Zs for. Why are we speaking for them? Why are we insisting, oh, we must have leaders? As you can have your leaders. You can choose them. If someone wants leaders, then they can pick leaders. And let those who want to be leaderless remain leaderless. All these theories, conspiracy theories, that it could be this one, I don't know, deciding it could be Ruto. But we all know it's not a secret. Even this girl called, I don't know, Shalilo here. At the same time, kwani she's a ghost. She's everywhere. Ako hapa kwa Ndukibe, I can assure you, because I did a test, if there's space somewhere else, she's there. So the government is there listening to the things that we say. It's not like they don't know what we are saying. It's not like they won't come up with all manner of strategies to legitimize the movement. They've been doing it, but people have been moving on. On the issue of Otero, that tells you why, if you look at people as your leaders, then you end up being disappointed. He wasn't my leader. So what he decides to do is within his right. I mean, let's keep on remembering, it's a free world. It's a free world. People at the end of the day make their own individual decisions. If he decided to host Ruto, fine. If there are people unhappy with it, then they move on. If there are those who support it, move on with him. I mean, it's just simply that. For me, I'm not going to stop unless systems change. Many things are going wrong. Many things are going so wrong. I'm unwell myself, but because I can't get that treatment in Kenya, you have to go look for it somewhere. You have to ask people who are kuchangie. You literally become a beggar in this country when you get a chronic illness. What kind of life is that? Isn't that already anarchy? So for me, I'm already living in anarchy. Kuchangiwa kuombaomba pesa for you just to get treatment. What kind of a country are we living in? Because there are no equipments, misdiagnosis, left, right, center. Is that a country? Is that something we are proud of and say we are happy about it? So as a citizen, the constitution enshrines a right for you. Even hiyo kitu ya protest, it's enshrined in the constitution. And we must know where
Gloria, Gloria. It doesn't matter what you say. Yeah, all this outrage is good, but who's going to fight for you?
I am fighting for myself, and that is why I continue to say Ruto must go. That is my responsibility as a citizen to hold.
Who came up? Okay, hold up. And you guys need to understand who I am. Maybe you don't understand who I am. I might need to reintroduce myself to you so that you guys can know who the fuck I am. Hold up, Gloria. Don't say anything. Because this means conception that I am flowing with one side over another side. No, I am a truth seeker. I have been a truth seeker from the day one. There is no sides. There are no sides here. What is the truth? That's it. So when I'm asking you, you want all these good things to happen for you, and it's good. And I know you guys keep talking about leaderless, but that's a lie. That's a lie from the devil, from the deepest, darkest pit of the devil. And the person is telling you, keep screaming that we are leaderless. But the instructions are coming from somewhere every day. So all I was doing today, and I've been here for, I think, 4 hours. Yeah, and Gloria, maybe you need to understand this. All I was doing today is this, making sure that you, Gen Z, every time you get your instructions, make sure you're getting instructions from somebody who's with you, not somebody who's using you. Because the movement is powerful as long as the Gen Z are on the seat. If Gen Z are not on the seat, then it's going to be led by Guaido, it's going to be led by Okia Omtata, it's going to be led by Boniface Mwangi is going to be led by anyone who comes in and touches Gen Z's emotions. They are going to install him as their temporary leader, and that person is going to use that movement for whatever it is that he wants to use it for. So yes, I get that. I get that you guys want to say that you're leaderless and you're all this less. They are good. But what you are right now is just a movement that is going to be used for evil whenever anybody wants to use it.
But you see, you are also like insulting the intelligence of Gen Zs when you say they're going to be used for this, that, and that. Don't they know themselves?
But we have seen it.
Don't they know why this? Okay, if you already know who those people are because you're mentioning them, so why are you asking leaders or where they're getting? If that's what you think, that these are the people they're getting are giving instructions, then already you know who the leaders are. Then what's the point of asking who are the leaders? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
So my point for you, and maybe because if you had taken time to listen, you'd have understood what I said. My point to you is this: even when I joined the revolution, and I said I'm putting my weight behind the reject the finance bill, right? Because I said even on that day that as long as this is a movement that is being led by Gen Z, then I'm putting my weight behind it. But if it is going to be led by people like from my era, then it is the same bullshit movement we've seen over and over again, because people of my era are bullshit people. You've heard me say that. So it's not that I have a problem with the movement. I just want the movement to remain as organic as possible. But when I see people from my era using the movement, then if I talk, is there a problem, Gloria?
Did I say there was a problem? You see, you are saying things and then you're claiming I'm the one who is not listening. All these words that I've said, is there a moment that I said, Kibe, you have a problem? Or there is a problem somewhere? No, I did not say that. I simply said, let live and let live. Let people decide for themselves, because this is an individual decision. When a citizen decides to hold government accountable, it is an individual decision. It's their right and it is their responsibility. So me, Gloria, as a taxpayer, that is what I'm moving with, that the system has to be overhauled.
No, Gloria, Gloria, that's not right. That's not right. Because Gloria, you are told which day to go to town. So let's have a convo. Let's have a convo. So you are told which day to go to town, right? You are told which hashtag to put. So when you're saying you've made as an individual made a decision, you didn't make any decision. You're just following. There are decisions that you made.
I made a decision to put that hashtag. Nobody comes, holds my hands, take my phone, and then puts that hashtag. There are many hashtags that have been pushed, but I don't always go with them. I go with the one that
I agree. I agree with you on that one. I agree with you 100%, Gloria. On that point, you have a good point on that one. The strong point. In fact, I have nothing more to say, unless Karua wants to say something.
Yeah, like there are these hashtags that I don't know, gaslight or bully Charlene Ruto. I don't believe in such things, so I wouldn't do that. As Gloria, she's a human being. She has her own thinking and thoughts. So she puts them on social media the same way I put them on social media. If I don't agree with them, it doesn't mean I insult her and call her names. She's a human being created by God. Nobody told God, this is how I want to be created. So I am a rational minded person. I look at that which I agree with and resonates with me, that I think is right. I don't just follow the crowd.
Hey, Kibe, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Before I say anything, I just want to commend you, because actually the reason I like jumping onto your space is it's of all the spaces that are around, at least you're balanced enough, you give divergent thoughts, and kudos for that. Today's topic, back to reality. Me, I'll talk of two things. Conflict of interest bill, the one that's in the Senate, and Okio Mtata. But before I get to that, I had you had a back and forth with KOP. and he was trying to say that, you know, you jumped in to the movement, geo coercion, what have you, and that's the beef I've had with this whole movement. Like, let's be honest, most of the influencers that jumped onto it, or anybody who has like big presence in social media, they were basically told, we will cancel you if you don't join in. And not that you just don't join in. If you don't join in and say exactly this and join in from this point of view. So let's not cloak this whole thing as, you know, noble. There are people in there that are pushing it. And actually, like I said, Jana, I jumped into Nani's Americ's space. And honestly, 30 minutes in and I was out. Because it's basically an echo chamber. If you have divergent views, you're shouted down, no one listens to you. Because like right now, like even when I'm done talking, these guys are NAS, these guys are government operative. And I think even Mariam gets that a lot. Miriam, you can probably confirm that. Because there's an issue with people talking sense or basically giving another point of view. And I keep wondering, if this is a revolution, why are you so afraid of another person's point of view? I would have thought, for example, me, I usually say a very unpopular opinion. I was actually for the finance bill. I'm actually pro-Ruto. In 2027, I will wake up very early and vote for him. And I give reasons why I'll do that, or why I hold a specific opinion. And all the discussions I've had, I've not seen anyone convince me otherwise. So if it's really a revolution, declare your stand, make it public, give the opposing view a chance to critique you. Whoever has a better view, I mean the better opinion wins, and then you can jump onto that. But they are so afraid of that. I don't know why. Now back to the topic today. Let me start with the conflict of interest bill. From the word go, I said I don't necessarily believe in what the movement was for, but I will fight for their right to be on the street. Frankly, I would want them to be on the street every day, because with them being on the street every day, scrutiny is on government. And if they were going to do any hanky-panky, they cannot do it because of that scrutiny. And I believe even them being on the street and my point of view, at the end of the day, we both want the same thing. There's convergence of thought. We want a better Kenya. How to get to that is where we differ. But the end point, it's more or less the same thing. When I got in on the first day, I said I called attention to an act of parliament of 2016. It's called the Access to Information Act. And I said that's more powerful to fight for a better Kenya than going on the street any day. Because with that, you can, for example, everyone is on about Sudi. With that act, with the law, it actually says that if you have information or someone has an information, whether they are public or private, that curtails your freedom. You have the right to seek that information, whether it's public or private. Now, everyone is on about Sudi and corruption and what have you. With that act, you can actually go and check for his income all through the 15 years he's been in parliament. And you can actually match to the donations he's given. And then if, let's say, he's earned 100 million the last 15 years in being there, and he's donated 500 million, then you can ask, my friend, where is this 400 million extra you've gotten? And the only thing the only assets that you have declared are these. Where do you get this extra amount of money? Legally, you can do that. Now, the bill that has been mutilated by Sifuna and Olekina, and for some reason, they don't get any beef with that. It's basically so insidious that you are basically, Gen Zs are fighting the system. That bill actually infuses a cancer into the system. I'll give you a real life example. Let's say you're an MP, you sit in the infrastructure committee. There's a road somewhere in deep rural Marsabit that is going to be constructed in the next 3 years. With that information, that's privilege, that's not accessible to any other Kenyan, you can go in there, get 100 million loan, buy, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of acres all along that road. And because it's nowhere in Kenya, the rates are very cheap. And then by the virtue of you're sitting on that committee, then you can push government to allocate money towards that road. 3 years down the line, you bought an acre at 50K. The government comes and compensates you for 100, for $1 million an acre. And you become a billionaire instantaneously. That is legal right now. But with that bill, that is legal. Now, the interesting bit, I said access to the power in the Act, in the Access to Information Act. That bill that Olekina and Sifuna have just pushed through and basically mutilated, basically says Access to Information Act of 2016, it basically does not longer play. That right now, everyone, be it a civil servant or elected leader, at the beginning of the financial year, you have to declare your assets, and I think your spouses and those close to you, because that's what basically is used to see or to show that you've been corrupt or you've gained wealth beyond your means. That has been mutilated. That is no longer a case, and that's why that act is so insidious. It has basically legalized corruption in Kenya, and nobody's talking about it, and that thing will mess us big time. Why is it so? Probably because those guys are in Azimio. That's my take. Because I'm sure if Kimani Ichung'wah pushed that bill, they would be fine in Kenya right now. But because it's Olekina and Sifuna, nothing. And Omunde, I hope Omunde is listening, because he said he's on TikTok. Me, I'm not on TikTok. I hope he's listening. I hope he amplifies that and gets out to the TikTok guys, because at least I know them. They can amplify it. Now let's go back to my final point. Okay, Mtata. It's going to be a very interesting few months on here, because right now, apparently, everyone says Gen Zs they are leaderless and what have you, but they are coalescing around Omtata. I don't know whether it's by design or it's organic. It doesn't matter. But slowly and slowly, he's going to get built up by Gen Zs. If you look at the demographics, or rather the analysis of voting in Kenya, if you are young and radical, most probably you tend to vote Azimio. Gen Zs are young and radical. So who of the two biggest political formations in Kenya, who do you think is going to hemorrhage votes? It's the guys that tend to attract young and radical voters. Those are the ones who are going to move to Okiya Mtata's party. And that's Azimio. And when the mongrels are let loose on Okiya, the feasting will be glorious. And that's when you realize just how vacuous the movement is. Again, my solution to a better Kenya, Access to Information Act of 2016. If you say Sudi is corrupt, go after him. Use that act. Then you can audit him. And you can actually present that in a court of law and have him jailed. But going to the streets, it's good photo ops and what have you, but at the end of the day, will it deliver the results? And again, I keep asking, why is it Olekina and Sifuna have just mutilated that act, infused a cancer into the Kenyan system, and nobody's talking about it? That's all for today.
Thank you, Karwe. Appreciate that. And you see, this is hold up, Leroy, or maybe Leroy just jump on this, and maybe you can assist me in my thinking. You see now what Nani is talking about, Karwe is talking about. He's talking about the issues. Okay. Now everybody has very weighty issues. Everyone has an issue that is huge. But it's too much. It's too much to deal with on this level. It's too much because who's going to follow it up? Well, it sounds good when everybody sits here and complains, Karue, but who's going to follow it up? Who's going to make sure that some of these issues that we have are sorted or at least followed up to their the conclusive end? What's up, Karue?
Okay, now that's the contradiction again. I keep saying with this movement. You are willing to go die on the street, like literally. You can see how like those young guys throw themselves at like those water canisters and the tear gas and what have you. So let me ask you, what's easier? You willing to go to the streets to die for your cause, but not walk into parliament, or okay, I'm not sure that's parliament, but or it's the ages that stores the data on declaration of wealth and audit someone, because it's actually cheaper. Because these, I mean, all the banners and the t-shirts and what have you, they cost money. Walking into AG's office, get a lawyer, pay him, let him walk in, let him ask for MP so-and-so's wealth declaration for the last 5 years, audit. It's cheaper. It's more effective. And the moment these corrupt guys realize that access to information is being utilized, they will think twice.
Thank you, Karwe. Liro, what did you want to say before I go to Maski Darius?
You know me, I have manners. I think I have manners. So let me start off by saying, have you been, Kibe? How you doing?
Totally unnecessary. Today is not the day.
Aye. Bro, Kibe, let me start by saying, there's one person who, since this whole thing started, he has been trying to lead people to do something, but in that person, that person is called Andrew. The second name is Kibe. And I'm not trying to jack you off here. But Kibe, imagine for, I think, like 2 hours I've been here. You are trying to get people out of the everybody saying issues. People can't see it. People can't see what you're saying. People are still, let me call it, emotion. People are stuck to things that they were presented to, and they have stuck to it. Now they have built an emotion around it, and they are still angry at it. People can't see out of getting of issues to getting to talk about leadership. Karue, issues will, everybody has issues. Issue 1, issue B, issue. Hey, one person who went deeper into talking issues is today's Mariam. Imagine Mariam taking us to polls, those street lights. Nairobi people have those issues? No. Mariam. People of Ushago have those issues? They are not real issues for Ushago. They don't stay out at night. So let's get out of issues. Let's talk the real problem, which is leadership, which you guys are complaining about. Karue.
Riroy, let me, sorry to cut you off. Okay, you don't want to talk about issues. The reason that people on the street is because of those issues. So from the issues, then you get solutions. The solutions are basically, I think what you're talking about leadership is basically the solutions. And for example, the story of corruption, I just gave a simple solution to it: access to information, go after them legally. It makes sense.
Good, good. Okay, have you been? Let me also go to that. Have you been on? You've been listening to Kibe of late. Even yesterday, if you're here, you could have listened to him talking about representation. And then the president gave you a chance, which was presented to the LSK lady, to tell her, hey, I'm giving you a chance to come here on my table because I saw you with those people and I think you're competent enough to represent them. So here I give you this seat. Come onto the table. What did she do? Because Osama had happened the previous day before, and she saw what the Gen Zs they were saying about Osama. Now she declined an offer to the table. You're being given solutions, but you don't want to take them.
Leroy, and that's why I started my monologue with a caveat that there's nothing noble about this movement. Because if it was, you'd have, like the LSK thing, they would be auditing the debt as we speak, because that was a big Gen Z demand. So if they're not doing it and they've been given the mechanism to do it, why are they not doing it? Because at the end of the day, then the demand is not as noble as they make us believe.
And I'll take you again to. Let me take you to yesterday. If you guys listen, I know a lot of you guys tuned into. Why I can tell you again, you guys still don't have. You don't have real pro. If you tuned into this guy, Amerix, you tuned in yesterday. You listen to that space for 1 hour, you get bored. What are the people talking about? Tuchukue kura saa hii, kila mtu aende achukue kura yake, kaa nayo ngangari, tungoje 2027. So you don't have real issues affecting you right now, sindio? If you had not issue real problems, if you had them, we will be marching to fix them today. Everybody who got onto that space was talking about let's go and take our vote to be ready for 2027. And if we can get to the side of reality and facts, Ruto didn't come till 2032. Him being there till 2032 means he has the power. Him having power, what does it mean? We have to sell our ideas to him so that he can help us to put these ideas onto where we want them. Do you want to have that conversation? No, we are outraged. And what happened yesterday in Uhuru Park, what has been happening for the last 2 weeks, is a breeding of new politicians. New politicians and endorsing some people who agree with whatever you guys are saying. And Kibe, do you remember the day you started? We are having these conversations. You can't join people who cannot take a different opinion from you. You saw what they did to Caliph Cairo. You saw what they did to you before you joined them. And even when you are trying to join them, you see what they did. People who can take different opinions. Why? Mariam, you have a question for me? Or
No, literally just finish. I'll correct something. Just complete.
no, I'm done, Mariam.
Okay, I really wanted to correct something. Either you misunderstood me intentionally or something. What I was talking about was development. I said that development is the issue in most counties. That's the issue that needs to be fixed. And when I was talking about lighting, that was just an example. So when you say that guys in Ushago don't need lighting, guys in Ushago need their factories to be revived. For example, that's something that needs to be worked on. So after it's worked on, guys are going to be working for 24 hours if they have to. Do they need lighting? Yes, we saw Rwanda in the most remote places. There's lighting. What does lighting mean? It means security. Forget about ati watu watembeangi nje usiku. It means security. It means 24-hour economy. So there's some of these minor things that you guys are ignoring or just pushing away, but they actually mean much more in a society or in a country. So you cannot puuza ati lighting is nothing. People don't work at night. No. It means you can actually activate a 24-hour economy.
But Mariam,
it means that there's
to
security
them
in that area.
right
Those are
now,
issues I'm
to
talking about.
them, that's not a problem.
Yeah,
To
that's
them,
literally, that's why I'm saying you misunderstood me. You misunderstood
guys
me.
in the city are the ones who are
Kiasi
seeing
too, let
it.
me correct you on now something here. You misunderstood me because when I said it cuts across the board, for example, the whole of Nairobi needs lighting. That means a lot for us. And as I explained earlier, it means security, it means 24-hour economy. So when you go to the other counties, they have other issues that if you started to work on those issues, for example, if they need hospitals, they need schools, they need their factories to run, such things, if you start to work on such things, even lighting will be a priority because it will be a big urban center. So lighting will be an eventual need for them. I don't know whether you guys are really understanding me, Leroy. But I focused on development. It's a big issue across the board, depending on the needs of each person, or not even person, of each constituency.
But Mariam, all this is anchored on good leadership. If you take away the good leadership, it doesn't matter what resources this country or that country have. It's all anchored on leadership. Stop running away from leadership.
I refused. I explained to you that leadership and issues system go hand in hand, Kibe. You can give a good leader to a constituency, but if he doesn't have money for development, then nothing is going to be done about it.
No. You see, that's the thing. Because you're assuming that this leader is coming in and he's going to find a big bag of chums and he's going to decide what to do with this money. The leader is the one who's supposed to even find where the money is coming from. He's the one who's supposed to bring investment inside. He's the one who's supposed to bring in money. Not to come in and find out you have a big ball of money, now we decide what to do with the money. So you're trying to take us down to issues that are talking about electricity and lighting and all that. All those are issues that are going to be handled on the ground level, depending on what their specific issues are. But you cannot bring it on a whole national level and tell us our problem is street lighting. It's not.
But Kibe, if I may jump in, yeah? Now, you have to appreciate the irony of the whole movement. Right now, the other day I was driving to Nyeri, na nilipatana na I think 15 to a van, wazungu wakihepa. Apparently, every day there's a protest in Nairobi. 2 billion worth of GDP in Nairobi doesn't happen that day. So in essence, when you're protesting while messing up the economy, and you're messing the economy because you want more tunes. You get the how do I put it, the guinea pig running around the treadmill thing.
Can I interject there, if you allow me? That is, when we talk about economy, that when people protest, they're affecting the economy. What we need to appreciate first is these things are intertwined. Yes, I agree with you about political leadership. That's where the problem begins. But politics is intertwined with the economy, it's intertwined with the social. You cannot get out one from the other. So if your politics are not right, of course the economy will suffer. So you can't blame protesters ati ndo wamefukuza tourists, or they're the ones killing the economy. When people are stealing left, right, who economy? Is it just protesters who are killing economy? And why did protesters go to the streets to begin with? Who started the theft? Who started bringing down the country? Who started the looting? So hii kitu historically, I know Kenyans don't like history, ni mambo ya kale. But if you understand history, then you know where the problem has been. That dissent has always been taken as if, I don't know, you're committing a crime. It has always been criminalized because those in power do not want to be held accountable. Kenyatta began it with siasa mbaya maisha mbaya. That was Moi's following in the Nyayo footsteps. That they'll always be singing songs za maendeleo, oh sijui Kenya amkeni, yet you are taking down so anyone who protested, anyone was seen as a criminal. Protest is enshrined within the constitution. It is a right to hold leaders accountable. We criminalize it because we don't want decent. Ukiongea acha siasa, hata shuleni mukiongea, teachers are principals are adding school fees every other day, but once a parent speak, wengine wewe wacha wewe utaharibu. That is why Kenya, we are not moving on. We are so scared of dissent. Why are we scared of dissent? Why? And that's the only way we can bring out problems that are affecting us on the table. Why do we fear dissent? And when we talk about sijui task force, and I mean, is it kwani sisi wengine hatuishi Kenya? Is it the first time that we've had a task force? A task force is a way of postponing the problem. Let's talk about it. Let's come with whoever implements those findings. How many task forces have we had? They promised, we'll do away with CBC. We'll do away with. They came in immediately. They began a task force. Was anything changed with that CBC? And we know CBC has a problem. Nothing was changed. But because a task force was done on it, people ate money, sitting allowance, they are finding. So now we are okay. That issue was sorted. No. Let's not forget history. Let's not forget how power plays. These task forces are a waste of time. Auditors, generals keeps on auditing. Saizi, 15 billion is lost from the e-citizen. We used to say, okay, e-citizen, there are different pay bills here and there. Now there's only one pay bill, 2222, which is very easy for someone to say, hii pesa imeenda wapi? Auditor General ameshasema 15 billion is lost. Do we want also to have a task force to explain where the 15 billion has gone? Is that what we want? Everything throw in a commission, everything through. No, it's simple. Just stress it. Iliekwa hapa kwa hii pay bill. Where has it gone? Task force is a way of duping people. And that is why the LSK president refused it, because if we already have an auditor general, why do you need a task force? Na hiyo debit imekuwa ikikuwa audited, tumekuwa tukiambiwa ni hizi pesa, ni hivi. I mean, why do you even need people to go to the street for you to audit why are you paying something you don't know? I mean, these things are very simple, people. Let's not pretend like we don't know how political leadership acts. And that is how they've always acted. And the issue of Kirue, you talked about a very good issue, conflict of interest bill. You know, people didn't get to know about it because they are pushing so many bad things at the same time. E-reject finance bill has really helped for people to open up their eyes and see many things. Kulikuwa na land bill huku, so many things are being pushed. And that's why when we are saying Ruto must go, for me, I'm saying it's a systemic overhaul. I don't mean that tunaacha sijui ODM sijui kina Sifuna. No. And it's not true that people are not talking about it. People are talking about it. In America, aliitwa huko, alijitafuna tu meno. All of a sudden, he was not eloquent. People couldn't hear what he was saying because he knew what he has done. And that thing was pushed by both the majority leader and the minority leader, ndo ali-introduce. So even in your own way, by just mentioning it, Kirue, don't think you're not doing anything. I said this thing is an individual responsibility as a citizen. By just mentioning it, those who had not heard about it, already umewasaidia. That is information. They're going to look for it, and in their own ways, they'll think about what do we do about it. Yes, it has become law, but can we still go to court? Can we still ask for this thing to be reviewed? So every little effort is welcome. Every little effort. And that's why I'm saying minimizing the movement is counterproductive. Hiyo ni yao, wameamua Gen Z, hiyo ni yao. Wewe kama Kirue, wewe kama Gloria, wewe unafanya nini? That is the question we should be asking ourselves. You've given us I knew about it. There are people who didn't know about it. They're going to do something about it. This thing has made me to be conscious. Silali kila siku pako unaangalia Hansard, wako na nini, wako na, because these people are very treacherous from both sides of the divide. A politician is a politician at the end of the day, pushing things that people don't even, in 2 days, when do they debate? When do they pass them? You don't even get to hear them because they don't even debate them. Zinaingia huko mbio mbio, zinapitishwa. So let's not forget who politicians are. Let's not be duped by task forces. Let's not be duped by commissions. We've had so many commissions, Waki commission, name them, Kriegler. Nobody's implementing anything. They're just gathering dust. So let's not be duped. You don't need a commission to tell you that this person is corrupt. You don't need that commission because people are giving evidences left, right, and center. But they are taken to court because they're the who and who. Tell me which politician has ever been jailed. Hakuna. So what do we need?
Gloria. I told you I don't want the ranting anymore. I want the action. So yes, so we have gotten there. We have said all those things. What is the action plan? Because we are talking about all this corruption. What is the action plan?
I keep calling for Ruto to fire those CSSs and go with them. Go with them. I am calling
Gloria. Don't misbehave. Come on, Gloria. Let's have a conversation. Yeah, don't get into your emotions. I'll unmute you, but don't get into emotions. Let's have a conversation. So my question is, and I think, to be all honest, I think it's the same question I asked from day one. Because what I want is a mechanism. So do you have a mechanism, or should I create a mechanism for you? Because I think you should be honest enough and tell me, Gloria, that you guys don't have a mechanism, and it is okay, me as Andrew Kibe, to create a mechanism for you. That I think would work faster than you guys just saying, just go with them. Go with them. How? I mean, what's the mechanism, Gloria?
That's why I'm saying you are imagining that people are not creating a mechanism. As Kibe, if you want to add to another mechanism, it's welcome. People, there's a chat GPT on looking at corruption cases about individuals in power. And people are writing petitions. How many petitions so far do you know right now that are in court since this reject bill began? There are people collecting signatures to have their MPs recalled. So you are here imagining that people are not doing anything, that they're just talking. No, people are talking and acting. And even those who are just talking, even discourse is important. Ideas are important. So you as Kibe, if you want to do something about it, you are welcome to do it. You do it and tell us, this is the mechanism that I've come up with. We discuss it, we see, yeah, it can work. And then people go with it. But things are in place, things are working. We are the ones sitting here imagining that people are not doing anything. People are doing something about their situation. People are doing something. Right now, doctors are occupying MOH, interns, who've not been, for over 2 years. They have not begun their internship, meaning they have no license. You could even tell them, oh, you can go and work in a private hospital. Without internship, they don't have licenses to practice as doctors. So everyone in their own...
Hold up, Gloria. Because now we're down now to discussing the issues, and which is what I'm trying to run away from. So JN, you came running. Gloria, just mute your mic for a second. But you make a good point when you said that anybody should start whatever it is they want to start. Go ahead with it, and you don't have to even tell people about it. Just present it when you're done. That's a fucking good point. JN, go ahead.
Hey bro, aje?
Fiti, what's up?
Hello. Nacheki huku tangu post na clarity bado watu wanat. Kwani hamtaki kunat? Bro, hii story ya nini, I think penye wewe unasema, I think you are the guy, I think. See, I'm thinking you're the guy. So sijui mbona tunadilidali. Unatuuliza hiyo swali na mimi nimekubali kuijibu. You are the guy basi. So form ni gani sasa, tuambie.
Where's my crown? And you know, Gloria, Gloria, let me put it to you this way. If you see someone like Ronaldo or Michael Jordan, when you see them, they are the ones who are given the ball when there's a lot of pressure because they have learned how to handle the pressure. Okay? Everybody can shoot, but not everybody can shoot when it's pressure time, when there's pressure, when there's 3 seconds on the clock, when you need to say the right thing. Not everybody can do that. So that's why, for me, it is more important to not focus on the issues, but focus on the ones who are going to drive the issues. These are the people who are important. They are super important. The same way Ruto is important, the same way Raila is important. Hold on, Jaya. Yeah, the same way, any of these people, the same way Messi is important. That's how important a leader is. So Gen Z, if you're listening to me, start to cultivate, at least even do interviews. Okay? At least even start to have that conversation, because at some point it has to be real. Yes, the fantasy is that you remain leaderless. That's a good fantasy, but at some point it has to be real, because there are issues that need to be dealt with. And these issues come up on a daily basis. And Gen Z now have said we have a constituency that cannot be ignored. So yes, it sounds good and everything, but eventually you will need to come up and say, hey, let's start to do our vetting. Let's vet the people who are going to represent us. Is it in parliament? Is it in MCA level? Is it in the parastatals? How many seats are we getting on the table? Such kind of real conversations. Because you cannot go around chasing people like Osama. Osama is going to give you very puny issues to deal with. You guys will be dealing with puny issues on a daily basis, chasing your tail, chasing nonsense issues. Hey, wale makaraus mama pale nje ya nini, au makarau wametusumbua sana. That time you're telling that to the president. Something that can be dealt by the OCS through that guy who likes the hogging the mic. Brian Ngudi Juma, you have something for me?
Yeah, Kibe VP. Now, let's. I think the best place to look at when you are facing such issues, whenever there's a crisis, the number one place to look at is in the mirror. Like this piece of crap bill, it was passed by MPs who we voted for. So to some extent, we are the contributor to this mess. In fact, some of the MPs were claiming that they voted for this bill without reading it. They signed on it without reading it. So we went and put in power an individual who is so deficient in due diligence that is ready to pass a document without. Imagine you are given like a 50 or 40-page document that is going to determine your life, and you have the audacity to sign it on without reading it. Those are the people we voted for. Now, enough of the issues. I've always said Gen Zs, I take them as the tech-savvy guys of our generation. Now, if I were in their position, because now I think they are more tech-savvy than me, they would set up a platform, an AI-based platform that goes from presidential, MP level, senator, and for you to be considered, you have to get on that platform. The platform has been keyed in with certain specific characteristics that are required for the job, plus AI, lie detection, characteristic detection, analysis, nini. Use some very disruptive method such that if a leader does not show up on that platform, it's a live thing that runs throughout and you book a slot. If a leader does not take part in that live session, which is online, that leader is out. That means the Generation Z are taking part in the vetting. It's like during the hiring process of an individual, your hiring process is so screwed up. Then you start making noise when the person is already on payroll, he's drawing resources from the company, is doing shit. So the Gen Z have to be tech savvy. They have to bring in highly disruptive means of vetting. It is where the vetting goes wrong. These people didn't shoot their way into these positions. We stood there and we fought over them. We took Shilingi Miami and whatnot, and we allowed them in. We allowed characters who didn't have the balls to tell the president he Billy Korong. And when the president accented and said, okay, Gen Z wamezusha tubalishe, the same MPs were clapping again. We put them there. So let us start by looking at the mirror and look at that vetting aspect. And I've said this, let the Gen Zs bring in their tech savviness. I would suggest some sort of AI system whereby any candidate, you present yourself at a certain slot, you give your whatever Serazako, and the AI system will be vetting you, will be looking at your statements, looking at your facial recognition. There will be a database that is looking at your past transgressions, kama ulikuwa mwizi wa kuku, nini, what not it. And within a short time, we've somehow, I'm not saying it's going to work 100%, but we'll somehow weed down the number of crazy people getting into parliament. Look at this guy from Embu. I don't know if he's from Embu or from where. This guy opens his mouth. Even the people of Embu are shocked. Then how did this kangaroo get into that seat? So, gentlemen, let's look in the mirror, because at the end of the day, these people are a reflection of us. So, my appeal to the Gen Z now, bring in your tech savviness. We, the millennials, we fucked up tangu kitambo. So, show us what you can do. Be disruptive. That's my only contribution. Thank you so much.
All right, go ahead. Thank you, Juma Maski. What do you want to say? And let's start to close it up now. So give me your final submissions as well.
All right, thank you for the opportunity. I hope you can hear me. You can hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Darius, graduate to be from KU. My submission is, currently we are in an amorphous form, we as the Gen Z, slimy, unflowing, and formless. Now, there's a question I wanted to ask all of us. Do you know why most of these successful maybe career people, they hire career managers, they set clear goals, and then they ask these people to coach them through until they achieve whatever they have put down? I'm saying this with relation to we, the Gen Zs, not having leadership. I'm beginning to see that as a challenge. A few minutes ago, I heard Gloria talk of her pushing, for example, contributing to a hashtag that resonates with her. I have been a student leader throughout campus, and therefore I can notice a lie when I see it, for example, in the mainstream media and everything. All these hashtags, there is somebody always pushing a certain hashtag. Why? Currently, I've seen them trying to push something about the again, some push for the Ruto must go, the Occupy Parliament and everything. I would assume it. But then there is a parent who will see the Gay Z stuff and they'll be like, I don't want to see my kids on the streets because the whole idea is changing. Politics is about illusion. And these people, they'll use all means to deflate our campaign for better change in this country. Another thing I had James Calway talk about conflict of interest. I want to support him in this because that bill was passed when we were so busy with the reject finance bill thing that we were not able to actually look into it. I mean, so that Kenyans never had time to look into it and then discuss it. For example, when you talked of politicians buying land and then diverting government projects, and then he said he supports a certain quarter of government, I want to remind him that that quarter of government, they're the same people who bought land in Narok during the SGR era. They rushed, they didn't know which direction SGR was taking. They bought land in Narok and then it was diverted to Naivasha. During the Africa Climate Summit last year, the catering that was done there was done by a certain hotel, Ikoapa Wilson Airport. It is owned by some individuals from government also. They are already working despite the whole conflict of interest bill being in place. And so these people, they are looking for ways of sanitizing maybe the proceeds that they have already received. So I want to request us to be very wary of the side that we expose to politicians. For example, Gloria, I have seen you sometimes kind of get emotional. And if somebody realizes that about you, they'll exploit you badly. So coming to the solutions, for me, I would want to request us, all of us, to try and use the constitutional methods. So far, the only thing that we have taken from the Constitution is the expression, the article that allows us to express ourselves. But then, now, there are other articles which are very critical when it comes to leadership and governance. For example, right now, let me take us back to the politicians when they were voting for the finance bill. Some of them would say they voted because of their loyalty to the party. They voted due to their loyalty to the party leadership. So, if the secret is the party, why don't we form a Gen Z party? If the party is the organ that whips these people towards one side, why can't we form our own party? That's my question. Another thing, we have invested so much in blaming the voters, blaming ourselves. Let me ask you, if the voters wouldn't have voted, we wouldn't have had an election. Either way, when there's an election, there must be somebody who will be voted for. For example, the last time we voted, we thought that the current regime had the best manifesto, but then they turned against us. We are not the problem. The problem is the people who come to us. That is why I feel, as we are pushing for IEBC to be reconstituted, we should also have stringent measures to ensure that the people who are going to be allowed to vie, they will be people who can bring change. There are people who are of sound mind to begin with. Because in some scenarios you get that there is, okay, sometimes people say we elected so and so because there was no any alternative. A better person to vote for. Another thing, we have refused to have Gen Z leaders simply because they can be corrupted in courts. Just a minute. If we cannot hold our very own accountable, for example, let's say you front me today as a leader. If you can't hold me accountable, how are you going to hold the government accountable? It's not possible. It's difficult. Therefore, I'm requesting all of us to go back to the drawing board and relook this from a different angle so that we come up with something that cannot be deflated. We need leaders who will help us. We can make a lot of noise on X, these people discussing this, the other group discussing that, but then we need people who will bring all this together and harmonize it in a way that it will point us towards a common goal.
That's from me. That's my submission.
All right. Thank you, Maski. Kelvin Juma, are you there? And try and keep your submissions to like below a minute. Huh? Kelvin Juma, are you there?
Yes. To me, I think that tulikuwa tunasema ya kwamba mimi ni Gen Z kitu ya kwanza, na nimeona maoni yenu na watu wengi wameongea sana, so mimi siwezi sema kwamba to elect a leader that wanatupresent. Kitu ya kwanza mimi ningeonelea tu work under katiba ya Kenya. Kuna mtu ameraise issue ya tunapotengeneza channel ya present leaders. I can't believe in leaders cause na pia kumekuwa na story ya kutengeneza party ya Gen Z. That is not right to me because hata tukitengeneza hiyo party unajua itakuwa in a way that sasa ni politics, and as we said that Gen Z is unpolitical and we did need politics. To me, even a place where I'm coming from, my leader, MCA area, is a Gen Z, but that guy is not working. It's not taking accountability. So to say that we need to elect Gen Z leaders, it's not mean that now ati vitu zitakuwa zina run poa. My point is this: we need to speak, kuweka government alert through kwa group kama hizi za space. Kila mtu akuwe ni kiongozi. Nasema hivyo. Why am I saying this? Kuna vitu mingi zimehappen sana. Is a time Ababu na Mwamba used to be a minister of sport. Alikuwa kijana, hakuwa mzee. Alikuwa na scandal ya kupotea na pesa za sport. Hakuna mtu alikuwa accountability kutafuta venye hizo pesa zilipotea. And main sectors that vijana pia wamekuwa wakihold. So mine is that sisi tutakuwa tunasema ya kwamba ni kama niyo IBC tunataka ikue itengenezwe. Sisi tunaongea sauti moja, tunaongea kitu moja, tunasema tunataka IBC. Kama ni sector ya afya.
Kelvin. So mukisema IBC tengenezwe, inatengenezwa na kina nani huko ndani? Nyinyi hamtakuwa?
Sisi ndo tunafaa tupush kama sisi. Sisi wote tunafaa tupush kama Kenya.
Mupush nini? Mupush kuingia huko ndani, because if you want anything changed, you have to change it yourself. You're not going to tell people to change for you. And
yes.
and Kelvin, you need to understand the reason why we've had ODM and UDA becoming very strong is because of the same reason Gen Z are running away from.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sasa unapiga makelele, unapigia nani? Unaambia nani ya change situation yako? Si wewe unafaa change situation yako.
Nasema sisi wote, nikiwa mmoja wao.
Lakini mechanism ni gani? Na una ODM na una nini? You have no channels to agitate for this change that you want, because you can scream all you want, lakini mtaenda kwa streets kungapi?
Can you ask you a question?
Ask me a question. I like questions.
Swali.
Uliza kabisa.
So swali ya kwanza nauliza hivi, tumekuwa na ODM, tumekuwa na Jubilee, tumekuwa na Kenya, and they have been having strong leaders. Wamefanya nini ku make sure history ya IBC vitu zimekuwa settled na wamekuwa watu wanafanya kazi na transparent way? Wamefanya nini?
But Kelvin, ngoja, don't ask and answer the question.
Okay.
Has when Kelvin, you know about Raila Odinga? Has Raila Odinga benefited in the last 30-40 years from the government or from being an opposition leader? Yes or no?
Yes.
Has James Orengo benefited?
Yes.
So all these people who are agitating for change when it was their Gen Z moment have all benefited?
No.
Who has not benefited?
Many.
No, I gave you names. Give me names, bro. I gave you names. Give me names. Because what I'm trying to tell you is this: whatever it is you're running away from is what you should be running towards. Because now you have the power and you have the numbers. These numbers are the ones which now you can take in one basket and say, with these numbers, I need this change. Unaelewa?
So nakuelewa. Nakuelewa. So mimi nilikuwa nasema, I think mimi nilikuwa nasema kwamba tukiongea in a large number, I think your message inakuwa understandable kuliko kusema tuta present 2 leaders ama 3, because they will go there with their own interest. That's why
No, you're
I'm
missing the point. It's always going to be one leader. It's always going to be one guy. It's always going to be one guy who is giving instructions and everybody follows. That's why it made sense when it was Raila. When it became Ruto, it made sense. It's always going to be that one guy. And hold up, Kelvin, just 1 second. Just mute your mic for a second. I wanted to respond to a message here.
Yes.
Okay, just mute your mic. I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
All right. So there's this guy says Kibe, or his name is Edwin the Pionierist. Says Kibe is playing this movement to position himself as Gen Z leader. Do not be fooled. He's manipulating this wave for political power. Wairimo Mariam keeps focusing on leadership because he wants to be the supreme leader. He hates when other people appear to be the leaders. Okay. Regardless says you are on point. He lost the clout. He once openly said he had a prize sell out who you. Kibe will throw, now this is Edwin, says Kibe will throw everyone under the bus for money, power, and fame. This movement is better off without a leader. You are here? Are you hearing the statement of without a leader? Leaders will come organically. Such manipulative, mischievous, self-proclaimed leaders will destroy this movement for their own selfish interest. If you cannot agree even about leadership, even something as simple as leadership, because anyone who presents themselves, you're going to go into their files and look at one thing they say that they on this and this day, and then come and say, oh, wait a minute. Don't you know this guy is that guy? Don't you know he's that guy? You are not presenting yourself, Edwin. No, you're not here presenting yourself saying, here I am, I'm standing in the gap and I want to be that guy. No, you're just waiting. As soon as somebody presents themselves, kill that motherfucker. It is completely ridiculous. It is completely ridiculous. Like now, if you go to a home where there is no real leadership, you'll see how that home disintegrates into chaos. Where there's a strong man in the house, that family is a strong family. Because that man, he rules with strength. That is what you're afraid of, Gen Z. You're afraid of strength. That's why you guys are coming together to kill anybody. Because for you individually, you're not strong, which is what you should be fighting to be. You should be fighting to be strong as individuals, not in the power of you coming together quickly to destroy. That's not a good power. It's very dangerous power. And that is what is being used now by the leaders of all other institutions to come in and get that power and take it and use it to destroy, and not just destroy. Use it so that they can shake down somebody. So the power that you have is a power for the shakedown. And now you guys, every time somebody comes in and says, oh, you know, we need to cancel this person. He says, yes, let's cancel them. You don't know whether that motherfucker has been paid to go cancel that company or that person. So you are going to help cancel, but you are the product. This person goes out there and says, hey, by the way, you know, JN, you guys can cancel anybody. I can make anybody rise or fall. All you have to give me is 200K. All right, let's move it along, and let's be very brief about it. Government pathologies. What do you have to say? I'll come to all of you. I'll give you a minute each to just close it out.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Give us your submission.
Okay, my name is Leonard Ombuna. Yeah, and what I have to say is that I think this whole government is all a mess for me. because they have really failed us, and what we don't have to tell them what they are supposed to do, because wakati walisema wanaingia huko walikuwa na manifesto. Sasa wanakuja kutuuliza what are we supposed to do. I think for UDA kuna mtu aliiba manifesto yao na huyo mtu anafaa arudishie. So if they have not done what they did in the manifesto, I think they have failed. And what I can also say is that we can use our numbers to change this. I think we need a change if they cannot deliver what they promised, and they have failed to deliver that. So that's the change we need. Yeah, we need to use our mobilization where we come from. I think we need to tell people this is what you are supposed to do. We need to mobilize people by using our numbers, whether it is online, whether it is where I come from, like me. I can go and tell those who are at home, this is what you are supposed to do, this what's supposed to be done for us to change the situation we are currently right now. And let's all not be fooled. I think for us to change this system, I think those 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 uh, those who are in government, I think everybody now is in government, whether it's on opposition or whether it is in UDA, they are all in government. They have been given those elective positions to leaders. eh. For they have, I think Ruto, he has been in government all along since he was an MP, and he knows everything what has been happening. eh. I don't know why he's afraid of doing what is right. Mm. We need to change and mobilize people from the way we have started now. Let's go and tell them this is what is supposed to be done. And if somebody comes and wants uh, an elective position, we are supposed to sit down with that person, and he or she should tell us what he is going to deliver. From that, we are able to select whether it's the right person to lead us or whether it's the wrong person to lead us. I think for the government, for Ruto, what he failed all along when he elected those cabinet ministers, he failed because they are all people. They were rejected from elective positions. If you see the whole cabinet, I think from the CS of Education, he was rejected from being a governor in CC. He was elected to be, Ruto chose him to be a CS for Education. If you see Mithika Linturi, he was rejected from Meru. If you see Moses Kuria, he was rejected from, I think, from Kiambu. Yeah. So if you see those all of them, they were rejected from Kipchumba Murkomen. They were rejected by the people. So going forward, we should say that if you have campaigned for something and you have failed to deliver and the people have rejected you, you are not supposed to go and be elected to hold such PS seat, cabinet, be a cabinet secretary, be chosen by the by the president to lead a certain ministry. I think that's what it is failing us. People were rejected from the ballot, and the president goes all along through parliament. This is what has been happening. So the whole government is all a mess, and we are supposed to clean it. If it's not right now, by 2027, we should be able to clean the whole government. And let us not be fooled by the opposition that they are campaigning for the rights of Gen Z. They are
Maliza bro,
all
maliza.
one thing. Yeah, they are the same. These people are the same. Yeah, that's what I had to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you, government pathologist. Who else is here? Ismail.
Yes, Nyajieni watu wangu.
What's up?
Good. Kibe, brilliant things that's going on. And the other day we said that utakuja kuipiwa and we saw what happened. But anyway, there is something that I think for the last two discussions on the space with the discussions of what people are holding that were coming up, and the ladies were mostly ladies who are suggesting that we need to have a political formation whereby we need to have a political party. So I wanted to at least inform the Gen Zs also much as a millennial to let down our total, but we need to inform them much on the political party aspect of it, whereby kuna mtu mmoja anaitwa registrar of political parties. If you remember, before the last general elections, kulikuwa na parties that came into being active, and on the registrar of political parties, we find that kulikuwa na people who are registered on the political parties without their consent. We uja apply, but unakuja kuna hiyo namba watu walikuwa na dial. If I remember that you check if you're registered with the political party, it was *509#, whereby they say it's free. But then you see the party that you are registered under. People's details were taken from, I don't know, the IEBC portals or whatever that people registered as a voter, and then they were placed in political parties. Now, these political parties, as we know them, ni cash cows for so many politicians. Yeah, there are people who have been in this game for a very long time, and that has been a cash cow because there is a budget that's given to them, to the political parties. Now you find that if we say today that we are forming a formidable force under a political party, already the way Gloria and the team was suggesting, that thing was just so brilliant, because how I see already a step ahead to that, know that when you're actually by wengine hapo, they will come up with others also to register a parallel political party whereby they'll use the same Gen Z narrative, but in the back of it, kuna watu wanaipush. The manufacture that political parties thrive under also, or somebody being a sponsor behind it, you find that these politicians, long season politicians, were in the game. They have the money. So getting some Gen Zs and getting some millennials and then pushing an agenda that this is a political party, we are fronting this, at the end of the day, you come to find that one is a tingisha momentum. But if we stick to a political party and we say we are forming a political party, we deregister ourselves from the political parties that legally or illegally registered us, most of us under them. That is a say. That's a statement. And nobody can run away from that. But the manipulation that I have been doing before is that you, as a person, you know that you don't belong to any political party. Maybe you're an independent-minded person. And then you find out, kumbe, there's a political party that already has all your details now. It's registered that where we go under that party. So many people were shocked last general election because they come to find that uko registered kwa parties zingine hata hazijulikani, zingine big parties. So we need to switch off, and then we switch on ourselves. You check on the status of the political party. There's a process where you resign from. If you are illegally registered under another political party, you can resign from that. You can write to the registrar. You can do it online. You can do it manually. Also, visiting every county has an office. You can visit them. Deregister yourselves. Number one, if you are registered under them, then make sure that you don't belong to any political party. When this party is registered as a big formation now, as a step forward, then we wholesomely come together and then register under that political party. The rest of the structures and everything will come to action. But in the formation of political parties, we know the things that go under it. Am I making any sense?
Perfect.
Kibe, uko area?
Nikoeria, I just didn't have anything else to add to that. I think you explained it quite well because you seem to have some knowledge about it. And so I did not counter it. But I also see unajua saa hii ukiambia, if you say anything that goes contrary to what everybody, at least the leaders are saying, then you're going to be targeted. And now you'll be targeted for extinction. You've seen how these guys have weaponized the Gen Z movement, that they can now use it to target anybody who goes contrary to their opinion. Have you seen that shit?
Yes.
So if today you even if you talk about a good thing and say, okay, we need to do this, because now you're giving the structure and saying we're going in this direction. And then if somebody doesn't like you for one reason or the other, they can cancel that whole movement just based on that. Imagine that.
Yes, but Ikitu, we need to give ourselves selflessly, as in it doesn't have to benefit me personally. I don't have to be a leader to gain from this. No, as long as Kenya gains, this is for our country. The manipulation that walipataje this data from our from
no, mimi sitaki kuongeza hizo details, because hizo details hazikuangi accurate. So let's move away from the details, and that's what I was saying even earlier. Let's move away from the issues and let's focus on the people who are going to handle the issues. That's all I wanted to discuss today. So hii data wameenda wakachukua IBC ama wakachukua kwa M-Pesa, that's a whole new investigation and conversation that needs to be run by somebody like you, Ismail. Are you seeing what I'm saying?
Yes. And we can put them to contact.
Exactly, but it has to be multifaceted. And that's why I keep insisting we need to have these people who chase after whatever it is that is going wrong with the country. It cannot be all of us screaming. It has to be, we have to be very targeted. Ismail has to be the one who goes against who goes for the register. He has to be the one to find out that this register is not being used or manipulated in the wrong way. Right? But not all of us can do that, Ismail, can we? Not all of us even have the interest, the knowledge, or the know-how.
Yes. Mchezo wa town, kuna venye inachezwa.
So kila mtu acheze ile game anacheza. Everybody play the position that you're put in. Kama ni defender, cheza kidefender. Lakini hatuwezi insist that defender akuje tena akuwe striker. It doesn't matter how much we like that defender. And then,
but the most beautiful Gen Z is that kwanza kuna block, a big block that wame come into action for the last 5 years ambayo watakuwa wakijoin, and then kuna a group that are coming up also wanaingia kwa hiyo bracket still. That's a force. Add to the millennials to say we are backing up the Gen Zs, and as we are in one, what happens? But the trust issues have to be established. People have to trust each other to go ahead with this.
There we go. All right. Thank you, Ismail. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, and just like I do in my businesses, when I find somebody who has ideas, somebody comes and says, "Hey, Kibe, you need to think about doing this and this and this." I tell them, "Is this something that you can handle?" No. Then don't make me your slave. It's a good idea, yes. Is it something you can handle? No, you can't handle it. Okay. Then what you're doing is just adding to the graveyard of ideas. That's all you're doing. Another idea that is going to die. Just put it here, put it on top of Andrew Kibe and see it. Watch it wither away. We cannot be like that. All right. Benjamin has not spoken. Benjamin Kubo, are you there?
Hi,
What's
Kibe.
up, bro?
Can you hear
go
me?
ahead. You have a minute to give us your submission.
Oh, okay. I just came across this and I thought best to speak. I think of which first I need to load the Gen Z, I being a millennial, the fact that they actually went out there, exercised their democratic right as enshrined by the Constitution. I want to more so speak from a legal professional experience space, whereby I would like to say that a lot that has been shared is immensely important. I think with every generation, every set of generation, it's important that we tend to internalize whatever we are going through. And because of the Constitution 2010, it's important that we actually be able to express it, so that at least we can be able to we can be able to actually make changes to the divergent views and the dynamics of basically the political, socio-economic environment that we live in. But more so, I think I need to quote Che Guevara. I think that's what I would like to really point out. He once said that the true revolutionary is guided by a great feeling of love. It is impossible to think of a genuine revolutionary lacking this quality. I believe the current government was elected. Some of us voted for it in. So we need to appreciate the fact that the rule of law exists. I really want to also laud the fact that yesterday was marked the commemoration of Sabasaba. And the festival that underwent at Uhuru Park was so peaceful. Everyone heard about it. The whole world saw it. So now I need to really bring out the fact that we are an educated society, whereby as much as we express our views, as much as there were goons who took over the freedom of expression, let us not mar the successes as much as the failures are still there. I wish there was someone who could have spoken about the interview with the interview on when on Saturday, the interview on Saturday with the economists on Citizen. I wish the people who would have listened in, the issues of this economy, our Kenyan economy, basically stem from years back. They have not been brought back by, by the current government. So which I really appreciate our president, when he came out and said that he's going to listen to the Gen Z and basically the larger Kenyan people, I think now what we need to actually move forward to is he has made changes. We need to appreciate that. Now, what will be the predicament of these changes? So I think that is where the conversation needs to start. So I believe the Gen Zs or any other person who feels part of that group, we need to come up with, we need to choose among ourselves persons who actually can be able to decipher I think the predicaments of these new changes to this finance bill. We are a country ruled by law. We need to step forward into a progressive and developed country. So now there are changes. We should live with under the perimeters of the Constitution. We went through a referendum, we voted for it. So now this has been tabled. I've not heard people talking about it. So I think even if I speak, I'm speaking from a point of a post-conventional person and thinker. Because now, if there are these kinkers of the past, and now there's a burden placed on this government, and now we've risen up and said, no, we will not be silent because we cannot, predispose, yes, that this false, that false, there should be this bill, and then we move forward. So now there is a conversation. So basically, there are changes. So we need to basically come up with people who understand what the economics, the science of economics is all about, the science of policy is all about, the science of governance is all about. So that now this can be made a conversation, maybe put up in a layman's language so that everyone can understand. The same way it was published throughout on issues concerning the finance bill, the then finance bill. I think from there we can actually look forward to what exactly we need to solve. Because at when even as I quote Che Guevara, the incidences of Argentina, him being a revolutionary, it's an irony because right now even Argentina is facing an hyperinflation. But to be honest, their GDP is quite better than ours. So you see, at the end of the day, the issue is, yes, there might be issues of inflation, but then we need to look at issues of growth. So the issues of these loans, at the moment, probably we might need some of these loans. Now, the explanation needs to be better explained to the rest of us. Why do we need these loans? So for the person who does not understand, the explanation needs to be broken down. so that we understand that this is a post-independence crisis. It is not something that was enshrined the other day. Well, so that I don't take time for others, let me also speak about the opulence. I think the anger comes in when now we understand that we are facing hard economic times. I think the most important thing is to understand that it's not easy for a person who has basically shaped the image of what he wants to do, the persons he wants to parade in order to achieve these successes. The president mentioned that, and I'm not even a government employee or in any way associated, but then the president said he will soon make that decision. I think what we need to first of all understand is we need to understand he gave a standing on his amendments. We need to come out clear and understand what is the effect of those amendments. Yes, the Law Society of Kenya mentioned that there's an audit. There's a conversation also going on in court. So we need to wait for that. Then at the end of the day, basically we need to understand that we need to have people who can come back down, explain to the Gen Z, basically this is the reality. I think that's the whole important aspect to speak about, because to come back to the reality of Mondays should be to come back to the reality of we are now an independent and democratic nation. So what went bad? What fucked up? Thank you, Kibe.
All right. Thank you, Benjamin, for that submission. Gloria, do you have anything you want to say? You have a minute.
Okay, in conclusion, I keep insisting all of us can make a change in our own individual ways. So find something you can do, make this government accountable. As for us, I don't know, picking leaders, Gen Z picking leaders, I keep repeating that they are here. Even in this space, Andrew, that you are hosting, they are here. I see this Shirley everywhere. So government people are here, whether they're NIS, whatever, they're collecting information. So they can take it to the president and tell him what our demands are. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Gloria. Gloria says they are listening and they will take it upon themselves to be so kind as to take your issues one by one and sit the president down to make sure that your issues are sorted. Wonderful. Wow, very proactive. JN, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Give me your final submission, Joe.
Sure. So my thing is this, finally, all said and done is, I think that us as guys should front one person, and who I think is you. It's gonna be you. In all words, it's gonna be you. So I'm thinking maybe the conversation should be steered about handling now you, how people will handle you maybe. Pole kukupeleka huko lakini.
JN is a funny guy. Funny guy. Funny guy. Thank you, JN, for the vote of confidence. I'm not shy about being a leader. No, I've never been shy. It's not something that I back off at. Now I'm going to be threatened with being a leader. No. Wait, if people want me to lead, I will lead. I know I'm the best person for the job. I know that. I know I'm the most integrous person that is out there in the streets. I know that. I have not just done that, I've proven myself over the last, since 2016. So it's not something to be ashamed of. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Let's get rid of the stigma of wanting to be the one who makes the decisions. That's what I would want. So I'm not sneaking into it. No, I'm placing the cards on the table. Everybody is seeing it. The cards are on the table. There's an opportunity here. The best person for the job should get it. Simple. In fact, I would be happy to even see someone like that fat girl Gaido being the de facto leader, or the leader himself. The person I would have a problem with is someone like Miguna. But even Boniface Mwangi was to get it. What's the big deal? As long as There's somebody who is willing to put their life on the line. That's the person you go with. As long as somebody is willing to put their life on the line, because accountability, they'll be accountable to the movement. The same way ODM MPs are accountable to the to ODM. UDA MPs are accountable to UDA. They told you the same during the finance bill voting. They told you we cannot vote for the people. No, we vote for the party. So even the Gen Z now, once we and we even sort of, I don't know, maybe you can still call it Gen Z, but even that party is going to hold its party members accountable. So that when you're sent out there to do a job, you do the job you've been sent to do. Now, if you don't do it, the party holds you accountable. You heard Sifuna saying, we're going to have to discipline some of our members who went contrary to the party position. This is just politics. The better you are, like now Sifuna, what do we know about Sifuna? Nothing. But when Sifuna stands on the floor of the House, he's able to debate and he's able to get his way. It is extremely important that we have the right people pushing the agenda. And not just that, the people who are willing. That willingness is something, you cannot get reluctant at the heroes here. This is not Hollywood. All right, thank you, Jayan. Jov Mangi, what's up? All right, Jov Mangi is still.
That's the most. What's crack-a-lacking, bro?
What's happening, bro? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I saw your uploads on Patreon. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We are following the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one lady here said, "End out with your president." We address our issues. Anyway, enjoy your rest of your day. I don't have much to say. But for the leader needs, we need a leader. The whole movement needs a face and a person to lead it. Yeah, we can't just be roaming around aimlessly and without any direction. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Jov. Thank you for coming through. Jov always comes through and gives me good vibes. Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Sunday, Jov.
Good vibes. You started with this whole space thing, and this is the motherfucking things you get.
Yeah, that was like a stab in the back, yeah? If you think about it.
Yeah. Because hosting the president, we talked about that thing long time ago. I think 2020, before you even left.
But
we had.
But Jov.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I not to sound like a victim, but I've just thought about it. I'm like, hey, you guy. They didn't even come to my inbox, my guy.
Because all everything that's happening now, we had already spoke about it. The spread.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything we had said, everything. Because what's happening now, we had already talked about it before you left US. You remember, right? So it's just prophecy.
Prophecy. Well, yeah, thank you, Joe. I'm trying to close this as quickly as possible.
Baraka.
Thank you for coming through. All right, Dr. Lucy, are you there? Dr. Lucy.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'd like us to look at it, this movement, and I like that we get back to what we are trying to achieve as Kenyans. Right now, we've been concentrating on the national government. We've been trying to put the government into, to put them into a position of accountability, transparency, and so forth. And this is appreciated, especially given that the conversation is being driven by the Gen Zs and the younger people. But the thing is, and now I'm going to look at it as a teacher. If as a teacher, I tried to push some agenda from the Ministry of Education's level, and at my classroom level, I'm not doing anything to improve the way I'm teaching, then in as much as the policy and everything will change at the ministry level, if I'm not doing the basic groundwork, then the agitation will yield very little. What am I driving at? Is that we also need to push, we need to agitate, we need to push for transparency and change and everything that we've been doing at the county assembly level. Like now, for instance, we've been talking about finance bill, that is the national finance bill. We've been talking about appropriation bill. We've been looking at the budgeting process. And at the same time, right now, we have the counties who, the counties have already drawn their budgets, they've already drawn their finance bill, they've already drawn the appropriation bills. The question is, do we really know what is happening at county level? Do we really know the kind of debates that are happening at the county assemblies? Do we know the development policies and infrastructural development, rather infrastructural expansion projects or social structures? You know, do we know what is happening at county level? What the MCAs are debating about and so forth? Every year, the national government allocates some money, in as much as it's a small percentage, as small as 25% of the national budget. In as they allocate every county some money, like 10 billion and so forth. Do you know how that particular money that is allocated to our county is used? Do we ask our MCAs how it is used? So the thing is, we might have very bad roads within our counties. We have the rural roads and so forth. And we have even estate roads kwa wanaishi Nairobi and so forth. Tuko na mabarabara mbali huko mtaani, tuko na vitu hazieleweki, you know, kuna student kids feeding programs that are supposed to be run by the county governments. We have ECD programs. We have devolved functions that are supposed to be taken over by the counties. Yet sometimes these services that are supposed to be under the counties are done so poorly that we blame the national government and we do not hold the county government accountable. So what I feel that we should, the way forward, now we are looking at realistically, we want change, and I'm so happy that we've seen that agitation actually does produce results. So the next thing is we go to the ground to jiulize, okay, yes, tuna the high level, yes, tuna put into accountability, tunafanya nini, but at the same time, are we asking our MCAs, the local leaders, are we asking them, are they delivering for us the local services that are devolved? You know, and that's what I wanted to contribute today, that yes, we want to put the national government on you know, on accountability seat and on the hot seat, and we ask them questions. We also need very, very much so, because that tunasema occupy MOH, Ministry of Health. Health is a devolved function. So the people we should be asking, in as much as we want to go to Ministry of Health, remember that we have CC of Health in our counties. And the doctors are supposed to be paid by the counties. It is not by the national government. So these issues, now this is for us to start thinking, but leta kuangalia National Assembly. Tunaweza enda kwa county assembly tuulize hizi maswali. Tunaweza walk, tunaweza march to the our MCAs and ask them questions. We can even, you know, we have realized as Kenyans, we have power, we have a voice, and we can ask for accountability from our local leaders as much as we ask them from our national leaders. Thank you, Andrew Kibe.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Lucy. Msema kweli, are you there?
Niko hapa, mnasikia?
Kabisa, go ahead.
Nimekuwa nikisikiza hii debate kwa hii mtandao, lakini one of the thing I think history of leadership is it's premature. Kwa sababu so far the protest imeendelea bila, you know, any like conspicuous leadership, lakini obviously imekuwa ikiendelea juu there's leadership at many levels, you know. Everybody that's doing something is, you know, the leader. Everybody is a leader right now. Over time, leaders will emerge. You know, realistically, to the best of my knowledge, we are talking about 2027 to change over. Lakini sahi, we know we have an incompetent and corrupt governor. Kwa hivyo kazi yetu ni kuamulika, start making plans, vitu kaa hizo.
while it's maybe well intended that the leader sahi, hakuna kitu imesimama. Nothing has changed. So leaders will emerge. So kwa hivyo hii kushida tuki-insist, leader, I think it's a waste of time right now. I think it's better to be more constructive and talk about the road ahead. Badala ya because on the other hand, the protesters wamesema hawako leaderless sahi. So hii ni kiburi kufikiria ati we know better ati leaders ati ndio who are required right now. So the same way Ruto ana kiburi mingi anafikiria ati he knows better than everybody else. It's kind of the same attitude here, leader sahi. So let's get with the program, tusikize vile the protesters who are putting their lives on the line wanasema, and then figure out how to support their protest.
Doesn't make any sense to me, but I'll allow you to sleep with that one. It doesn't make any sense to me because at some point somebody has to be the one to come up with the idea. Simple as that. Somebody has to be the one to say Tuesday ndio tunaenda tao, Wednesday tutakuwa hapa, Thursday tutafanya hivi. Huyo sasa ndio leader sasa. Huyo ndio anawapeleka mbele. But thank you, man. Thank you, Msama Kweli. Leroy, close this up for us, man. I've been here for too long. I don't want to be running these long spaces. I realized short or long, it doesn't make a difference. Once somebody has latched onto an idea, there's no getting them out of it. So Leroy, are you still here?
I love that statement that umeweka hapo mwisho. Once somebody has clinged onto an idea, you can't get them out of it. That's exactly what has been happening 2 weeks straight. But nimesikia, let me again call you this honorable name, Mheshimiwa Mwanguki. People are ready now to give you a seat. They don't want you to remain Mheshimiwa Mwanguki forever. We are ready for you to lead us. But again, let's not forget, in Kenya, politics, we have made it for the longest time a career. We have made it a career. So, you meditate on it. Politics in Kenya is a career, and that's how it's going to be. Na Kibe, wewe umetunyima show ya jioni. Do you think we don't love listening to Depo Dice? We haven't missed Depo Dice. Sasa ungekuwa umetoa wasanika, so imagine the music that what is it called? The music challenge. God damn it. Let's go back to it, Kibe. That's it for me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Leroy. Thank you for closing this out for me. Yeah. A lot of things need to be done. A lot of things have been said, and it's up to us to decide what it is that is best for you. For me, I have nothing but complete love for the Gen Z. I have worked with the Gen Z for the longest time. When I started, I'll tell you, when I started doing my content, I thought I would be talking to my age mates. So I really went hard on my age mates' content, and the people who gravitated towards my content were the Gen Zs. And I'm like, hey, but I'm not talking to you guys. So when I landed in the state, that's when I reviewed all my, all my analytics, and I was like, shit, actually the people who listen to me are the Gen Z, and I curated the content for Gen Z. So I'm not speaking like an outsider, and I'm not speaking like somebody who's trying to weasel himself in. No, I'm speaking as somebody who has been in there. When all this, because we have done a lot of work. Lero, you probably know this. We've done a lot of work for us to get to where we are today as men. We have fixed our lives, we have focused, we have done all these good things for ourselves. And all these good things are translating even in your community. When a man becomes a man, everything around you changes. So the work has been done. I just don't want you to operate from a point of fear. Do not operate from a point of fear. And there's not only one position. The cake is so huge that right now we need to be thinking about how Amerix, Boniface Mwangi, and the rest can sit down on one table and chart the way forward without fear. without repeating the fear mongering all the time. No, we need to, all these people who came together, including that Osama and the rest, they need to sit down on one table and now come up with the agenda. This is the agenda. Now that's where the power really is, not this infighting amongst all these leaders, or so-called leaders. The power is when the people have one bag and they can say, this bag of people are all thinking one way. Oh, that is powerful. You'll be able to change anything in this country. Bro, ministers will be hearing about you guys, they shake. Somebody will be thinking of taking a bribe. They are like, no, not if those motherfuckers are that organized. You have an opportunity here to do great things. But I see let me tell you where I see myself. I see myself as a transitional authority, so to speak. Yeah, like an oversight transitional authority, so to speak. That's why I see myself, not the leader, not the person who's giving the instructions. No, you will be able to choose that for yourselves, maybe when it comes to the elections. But there is going to be needed a transitional authority that sets structures in place where the Gen Z can now come in and thrive. Because we have to all to work together. It doesn't matter what you think. We all must work together. And it has to be a coalition of the willing. It has to be the people who are willing to work together. Those are the ones you work with. And the fact that now the Gen Z and the people of the flats have woken up, now when we put these structures in place, then it will be easy for them to be able to jump on it and go run with it. So yes, a lot of opportunities are in the offing, and it's nothing to fear. And it's time to go back to reality. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Do have yourself a wonderful day. Enjoy yourself. Do something I wouldn't do. And do not operate from a point of fear. Never, ever. Because that fear is going to make decisions for you. Operate from a point of interest, from a point of confidence, but not from a point of fear. Rosio?
This is The Morning Show with Andrew Kibe, every Monday to Friday, only on AndrewKibeRadio.live.
Wake your punk ass up.